Okay, so we're starting the clustering class and overview of failover clustering, implementing a failover cluster, configuring highly available applications and services on a failover cluster. There are certain important areas that we need to talk about, and then configure and understand the configuration. That's what this is the favorite exam question, interview question, as well as you will find cluster in every network, and that's like every network literally. For machines, checklist is for machines, ping them all from all, firewalls are off, make sure firewalls are off, because we're going to be configuring a SAN as well. So Microsoft SAN, we're going to be borrowing disks from that, and then we're going to make an one machine crash, and the clustered files should be still available while the machine crash, and automatically should go from one active, one passive we're going to create. So active will crash and passive will still become active, and the machine and the files will be showing on the passive which has become active. So clustering, 4 machines, 1 DC, 2 clustered servers, 1 sandbox. Okay, what's a sandbox? Storage area network. What's the concept of storage area network? What are LUNs? Anyone ever heard of that term? Yes, you did, right? What's LUNs? If you need to borrow a disk, so let's just talk about that. For the space. How? But okay, you can get the disk, but how technically we can get the disks? So if these are our servers, okay, of different shapes, and we have a SAN network, I mean it's a set of servers and storages that, okay, if I want to go to that place, so SAN, enter, let's just see the diagram, and oh, whoa, what is that? Okay. SAN, storage area network. Hey, what else is SAN? Okay. Hello internet. Okay, it still is SAN. Anyway, oh wow, there's a SAN that is ready to woo. So okay, this diagram just shows it all, but I wanted to show you the actual machines, and somehow the internet is not cooperating anymore, or it is. Oh, there you go. So these are the SAN storage. So there will be disks available. Let me just show you very clearly. So you can take out hundreds of disks. Okay, these are the disks. You can take out lots of disks and put in lots of disks. There could be 30 or 40 or 50 or 100 or 200 disks in one array. So you can put arrays inside a rack, and then you could just remotely access those disks. But how do you remotely access those disks? So okay, that's how it looks like hardware wise. But if we go back to the diagram, suppose this is a SAN storage and they have huge amount of disks here. You as a system administrator asked that, hey, for my Exchange server I need 20 more disks. So in our environment we had 70 extra disks connections from SAN for our Exchange server. So when we log into our Exchange server, there would be local disks, which are 16, 10, 16, 20, not 20, 16 disks. Physically you can just put as many disks. We had 70, and if you log in and you could see the disk management, you would be amazed at, okay, it's a huge line of disks, and this is not even possible that you can have physically 70 disks in a server, right? So you need SAN for that. How it works briefly is that if you have a lot of disks here in SAN or the storage area network, what you do is you ask the SAN team, hey, we need the disks. So what happens is, and these are your either ESXi servers, VMware ESXi servers, or Exchange servers or SQL servers, whichever needs a huge amount of storage. So within the Windows machine, with communication from the SAN guys and some configuration, these disks over the network, either fiber optic or Ethernet, either fiber optic or Ethernet network or Ethernet. You can have through Ethernet cable. It's called I-SCSI SAN, right? So what's going on is you have disk connections from these disks to the computers. They are connected, and we're going to do that. They're connected to a computer. When you log into this computer, it will look like that. You have physically those disks available here, while they're actually connected from that SAN network. And the only purpose of SAN is to provide storage. That's it. Disks. You want 1 terabyte disks. You want to connect, two physical LUNs over which you can create one C drive, one partition only, one volume only, right? It could span to all the disks. Oh, I want 10 terabyte one volume, or I want, within one volume, several volumes within one LUN, or within one physical disk. I need several of the, oh, it's clear. Cool. So you can also create volumes on one physical disk, different volumes, or you can have it span on different LUNs, right? But the thing is that you borrow from a SAN storage. The towers where the disks are, these disks are connected over the network to any of the machines you want. That's the basic concept. SAN, the companies, there are many companies who are offering SAN storage, and it's very expensive. But in Windows 2008, if we were about to do clustering, we would have gone with the third-party software called, anyone knows, OpenFiler, Starwind, and it simply converts your computer to a sandbox, which means that your current computer can offer disks to other computers. So you can have as many disks in that computer, and you can just offer it over the network to other computers, right? So Windows box can be converted to a sandbox. That was in Windows 2008. We were using third-party software, but Windows 2012, it's now a built-in feature that you can convert it into a sandbox. So this is called virtual SAN, but VMware also has a solution for virtual SAN, and in the VMware class we did that. So SAN is either fiber optic. Huge organizations have fiber optic network, and it's pretty fast. And if small or medium-sized companies, they can have just Ethernet I-SCSI, which means that Ethernet cables, you will over the Ethernet cables you can offer those disks. You can see the bandwidth, the speed difference between the data transferring there and here, right? So, and what our network should look like, it's gonna look like this. So there are two SAN machines. So there is one DC here. So DC01, server 01, server 02, and SAN 01. So if we name it this way, we're going to be very clear that so this will be the these two servers will be taking part in the clustering. Cluster servers. So these are the cluster servers, these two, and this will be the sandbox, which means it's going to be providing the disks from here, and on those disks we're going to connect. First we're going to create the disks on sandbox, then we're going to connect these disks to both of these servers, and then we're going to configure clustering on that. So we're going to go step by step, and we're going to understand the concepts as well about that. But this is our basic structure for now. Basic lab, DC, and then server 1, server 2, and sandbox. and clustering will be only taking place on server 1 and server 2. Sandbox will be only providing disks. That's the only purpose. And in clustering, we need disks. We need to borrow disks from someone else. We cannot use our local disks. That's the main part. In SAN, we cannot use our local disks, right? And we're going to see why. And of course, the domain controller for authentication. So clustering is available already in Windows 2012, but we have to be sure that we have new machines available for SAN. So I'm just going to make sure that I have 2 machines up already, and this disk space I have is okay. Good, 64 gigs. Good. That's exactly what I need. Let's empty up the bin and check. Okay, so I'm just going to go for 2 more machines, and we're going to go back to the concepts because I have a second 1 terabyte which is hybrid. I've used it and it's not that fast. So for at least this clustering, actually all the labs, next lab is Hyper-V live motion. Hyper-V, you will have 2 Hyper-Vs, and you have to migrate the machine live while it is working. You really need some power there, processing end. Actually, every lab you need a lot of processing end, hard RAM. So, but it's all now, the fun part has started. Okay, so server 3-7412, it's good to take. So when you create a domain controller and 3 member servers, take a snapshot at that time, because we're gonna reuse these machines. This week we're gonna do this, so then we're gonna go back to snapshot. This means we're gonna just remove the whole thing. We don't need it further for next labs, right? So we're gonna keep using 2 of those or 3 of those machines or 4 of those machines, but this is a lab only that's going to use just 4 machines. So if you don't take a snapshot, you have to recreate the whole thing, because next lab also requires that your previous lab should be perfectly, gone, really effectively gone. Oh, which game is that? Cool. I hate that. Oh, anyway, so yeah, let's just go ahead. Okay, so clustering overview of failover clustering. You know what, I always did use that 2012 one, while the 2008 one is much more better than this one in concepts. This is the and clustering did not change, other than you don't need to use this third-party software. Anything else is the same. Multi-site cluster. Seriously, oh, that was 2008. So okay, let's just go ahead. So what is high availability failover clustering improvements in 2012? And there's a message. Okay. And failover clustering improvements, failover cluster components, CSVs, what are those? Failover and failback. What is quorum? Very important. Quorum modes, very important. And failover networks. So let's just go ahead. Availability is a level of service expressed as a percentage of time. Highly available services or systems are available more than 99%. Let's just go to the diagram, and I'll ask you, did you ever see this before? You are a company which is offering high availability. Suppose you have those experts and you're going for that. So you say that, oh, our company can offer like 7 nines, right? Or our company has 6 nines or 5 nines or 4 nines. What does that mean? Downtime per year for 7 nines, 3 seconds downtime per year. If it exceeds that, you've broken the SLA, which means you're going to be charged dearly. But you're also charging them dearly per month as well. 6 nines is 31 seconds per year, and downtime per month is 2 seconds, and per week. Okay, so 5 nines, 4 nines. So if you are really a hard shot, you would go for 7 nines. Otherwise, you would go for 4 nines, which is 52 minutes per year, and you can just go for 1 nine. 36 days of downtime per year. Wow. And I don't think we get contracts on that, but there are companies who can just support. They don't have, this type of thing. Now clouds are offering that. Before, companies were offering that. So companies were hiring administrators. So now cloud companies are hiring administrators instead of these companies. Wherever you see the word managed company, that's a cloud company, and every company is now creating their data centers now. They already have clients, and they're seeing that others are coming and talking to your company's clients, and then they're saying, hey, we are offering everything on cloud. See, your company, they just have to come there, and you have that messy data center to maintain, and you have to hire those administrators. We have those administrators, and we have better administrators than your administrators. So, and we have our data center. We are responsible for that, and you just need internet connection. You don't have to worry about anything. So the thing is, jobs are still there. They've just changed. Now cloud companies are offering the same job that other companies were offering. So I've just started putting those jobs on the board as well. I put it on email as well. Try to look there and try to put your own job openings as well there. And some of those jobs which I post, if you just email right then and there, many people are getting response for that. So I also got a lot of response from there. This is all about how fast you apply. Anyway, this is a concept there. Now cloud companies are offering the same concept, but they can offer it better. Microsoft is now investing $1 billion on just cloud, so it's going to try to get the bigger share from all the. Also, banks are going crazily cloud. So Office 365 instead of Exchange, but Exchange will be there. It's just that when they really find out that there are some problems with Office 365 as well. So. Who? IBM. Okay. Cool.
AWS has something. I've seen that numbers.
Oh, okay. No, so AWS also has that.
Yeah, they have this chart I saw on the website.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's very famous. And they're now saying that the cloud companies will be offering this SLAs that you cannot have. But of course, on their side as well, there are data centers. They were the same data centers that the client used to have. So they just have dedicated people. It's their headache now. Okay, failover clustering. Improvements in Windows Server 2012 removed and deprecated failover clustering features. Before that, I will just try to check my machines, because at the same time I need these machines right there working. Don't worry if they're not activated yet. So for today lab, but after that activate. The thing is, don't forget to take snapshot at the right time. When you have created a domain, just take a snapshot. So I'm just putting the fourth clone up and go back to the slide. Okay, increased scalability, improved CSVs, cluster aware updating. We're going to be talking about each concept in detail now. Active Directory integration improvements. Yeah, it is improved. Okay, what's the point? I mean, first we need to get the basic concepts right. So this is service or application in terminology. Also, we did not go for the terminology. I just wanted to show you the SLAs first. What is node? In clustering term, the computers that are taking part in the clustering. So domain controller is a node or not? True or false? I mean, not true, but the question. Is domain controller a node? Whichever machine is taking part in the clustering itself is called a node. Whichever machine is not taking part is not a node. So domain controller is a node or not? As per our plan, only server 1 and 2 will be nodes. We will be installing the clustering service on server 1 and 2 only. Domain controller, no clustering service. And also on sandbox, no clustering service. So 4 machines, out of 4 machines we have 2 nodes, right? Failover, when the active node fails and another node takes over the workload. Fail back, of course, when the fail node becomes active again and takes back over the workload. Okay, cluster roles, that's what we're going to be deploying today. The software that makes failover clustering work. So if I go to the diagram, cluster roles will be deployed here, and cluster role we're going to be deploying, you can deploy SQL Server, you can deploy Hyper-V, we're going to deploy file server, and then we're going to create files there, and those files will be, so also one more thing, there will be one, of course, active node, one passive node. So file server will be definitely on the active node, and we're gonna crash that, and it should, we're gonna open a notepad from that file share, and we're gonna start working on the notepad, and we're gonna crash that machine, and we're gonna keep working and see how much is the freeze time there, right? How much it freezes. So, and the passive node should become active node, right? Easier said than done. When you start doing that, it's going to be tough. I keep telling that whenever we do the clustering, that my elder brother, he was looking for interview 2-3 years back, so we were going for interviews. So one of the company made him configure the clustering. So 3 hours, create file server, create 2 domain controllers, and clustering was one of them, Hyper-V was one of them, and 2 or 3 more roles. I think WDS, WSUS, both. So he was made to do all that in 3 hours, and he was selected. So if you are done, if you are practically doing that, definitely it's worth every second you spend on that. So I got all the machines cloned, so I'm just gonna start them and go back to the slide. Oh, it's already started. Oh, it's hot already. Hot, right? Hey, somebody turn on the air conditioners. Oh, too soon. Okay, our VM nets are on, mine is on 12, which is okay, and my internet is also working on DC. I'll just quickly log in. It's just going to create domain, then we're going to start the lab. Okay. Okay, cool. So cluster shared volumes, cluster roles is what you're going to put on the cluster, and it's going to be highly available. Highly available means, what is highly available? It's a very good interview question. Define highly available. And students are like, candidates are like, and never say that a thing that is highly available or whatever is available highly. Don't do that. You really piss off the guy. One guy, I was asking definitions in interview. He was exactly making those words, first and second, third and fourth, using exactly those words which I was asking. And I didn't tell him, okay, you did not tell me anything last half hour. He just played with the words of that definition, of that topic. So I don't get it, and I don't get anything. So can you really start impressing me now? And then, okay, sorry, sir. So wow, if you try to be clever, that's the one thing interviewer will be really pissed off with. That don't play with words. Highly available. So what is highly available? A proper definition, yeah? No downtime.
Instantly, like if one server goes down, the other server is there to come back on. So nothing happens. The availability is there.
Yeah, availability is there. For who?
First, I think like storage.
For the end users. End users
You
won't.
don't see like it's like a smooth transaction where
Bingo.
you don't see anything like if something goes down, somewhere else another server has to come online automatically.
And the end users will never see a difference, but realistically they will see maybe some moments of freezing of the application. That's all. So as realistic you can be, the better. This means, oh, this guy did it. Okay, okay, he has experience.
If failover exchange, you might need to close Outlook or open a block.
Yeah, exactly. In Exchange server, the failover for the DAGs, database availability groups. So that in in Exchange, what we're going to do today, when you install Exchange database availability groups, which is just making the databases highly available. So Exchange configures all this, what we're going to do today, and it configures it in the background. But we're going to go inside the clustering service and try to check everything and okay, so cluster shared volumes provide a consistent distributed namespace that clustered roles can use to access shared storage from all nodes. Wow. So cluster shared volumes we're going to be discussing in detail upcoming soon, because with Quorum I want to discuss that. Availability is a level of, it's a SLA. So how many nines you use is how much your company is earning, right? Even Microsoft, they have to, they're offering Office 365 as a cloud service. If the banks are going for their, like 86,000 users and to Office 365, they would need a very good SLA. That if there's a downtime, okay. Otherwise, Microsoft will be really paying back. Okay, so node. Excuse me. So there's node 1, failover cluster components. How many components are there? There's that cluster storage. There has to be a SAN storage, a third area what you're configuring, right? So node 1 taking part in the clustering, node 2 taking part in the clustering. In the middle you can see that database, or you can see that sandbox. A dedicated network connects the failover cluster nodes. That's where we're going to connect the fourth machine. Our fourth machine is the sandbox itself. It's going to be offering the storage, and this is now in 2012 as a built-in feature, which is very cool. So a network connects the failover cluster and clients. So there's a network, clients are connected to these cables, and they're connected to both the nodes, but any one node is active at any one time. Service or application either is on this node, so this node is active right now, and if it fails, then the service and application will be active here if somehow it fails. Excuse me. So what are failover and failback? We know that. So during failover, the clustered instance and all associated resources are moved from one node to another. Anyone can tell me what is that? The clustered instance and all associated resources are moved from one node to another in failover. What moves in a failover? You're failing over what? Okay. The what? The connections of the clients. So these are the clients, suppose. Now the whole scenario, there are connections here. This is the active node, so user files in large quantities are here. If I put user files here right now, are these files physically located? Where are these files physically located right now? If I put user files on an active node of a cluster, do you know where exactly are these files located right now? So I did not make an extra connection here. If I create this connection right now, anyone knows what is that? These are logical disks, logical unit numbers or LUNs, which are disks borrowed from the SAN. You're saving your users files not on the local disks, not on the local disk, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're saving it actually on this one, which is actually present here. Physically, it is present here. Users are connecting to the active node. They are saving their data to a disk that is not even physically present in the active node. The disk is actually present here. So all the data is being saved here all the time. Right? Okay, this we lose the whole machine. Now what happens? So there are hundreds of users connected right now. Hundreds of users. So what happens? The machine goes down. This disk also has a, which is actually present here, also has a connection here as well. Passive node. Passive node becomes active. All the user connections are disconnected, or not disconnected. I mean, user should not be seeing a downtime. So it's just redirected. Current connections are redirected to the disk there, and those files, active files, that disk is actually available now there. So this means that this connection is disconnected from back here as well and is reconnected here. So the client connections are migrated.
Just take one chair.
Yeah, sure, please. So the client connections, they are actually redirected to the passive node, which has now become active node, as well as the disk connection has moved from this to this one, right? Now, can you explain? Anyone can explain now, especially Michael? Okay. So, users are connected to the active node. The disk has been borrowed and is connected to the active node as well. So, in the back side, a disk has been borrowed. On the front side, clients are connected to that disk, virtual disk. You lose the machine. So, it's a high availability, it's saving us from machine level crash, right? So, you lose the whole machine. You don't lose the disk with the machine itself. Disk never was there in the machine, right? Only the connection to the disk was there, right? So if I start, remove all these lines, what are we going to do? We're going to create a sandbox. We're going to install the that sand software. We're gonna go there, ITCSI target. So then we're going to create two hard disks. We're going to make a connection of this disk to both the machines. Same disk will be connected to two machines. One machine will actively use it. One machine will passively use it. Which means it's just standby. It's just waiting for the disaster to happen. It's not being used at all. It's passive, standby, right? Active node and standby node. Users start connecting to this wherever the files are. Users don't care which node is being used. They are just using these files. Now, if the whole machine goes down, what happens? Two types of connections will be redirected. Which two types of connections will be redirected? Anyone? The machine goes down. This machine totally goes down. It had users connection connecting to the files on the virtual disk, and it has a connection to the sandbox from where it has borrowed the disk. Physically, these files are present here. The connection is only here, done here, but that connection is also here as well. Anytime you can redirect this connection to this connection, user will never know, right? So can all of you one by one tell what's going on? Anyone wants to take a try? Which two connections will be redirected to the passive node?
So the connection to this
Okay.
and the connections from the users.
Yes. So, and the definition says all the clustered resources here will be transferred here. Clustered resources just means all the services that are used by the clustering service.
So you can say that LAN comes could act like sort of like cache.
Yeah, so LAN would be the actual physical disk that is somewhere else. you just have a connection that you need to redirect to the active node, which the passive node, which has now become active because the first node crashed. Second node has become active. Yeah. So, Jay, did you get the idea? Are you able to explain this in the interview?
No.
Okay. So, what do you see from this diagram? Oh, in the interview, they're gonna just paste the diagram in front of you. Okay, you say you're, MCSA, right? Okay, and this is a 40 per hour job. So why should we pay you 40 per hour? Let's check it out. And okay, what's going on? And you start explaining now. Sir, I see 4 nodes here, 4 machines. 2 nodes are clustered. 2 are nodes are clustered. So that's why I'm calling it node. Or you can just say it in your words. I'm just explaining. So and 1 is active, 1 is passive. I can see there are client connections here. I can see, sir, there is a disk connection. A LUN is being borrowed from the SAN to the active node right now. So I can also see that users are saving their files in that virtual disk. Then I see that there is that long line, which means what? Can you, sir, tell me? Okay, then the interviewer says, yeah, this means that the machine has just crashed. Now what do you see? Oh, what happens next? Tell me. So you say, okay, these connections, client connections, and this disk connection will be redirected to this machine in milliseconds. Or is there less than milli? Microseconds. Oh, there's nanoseconds? Okay. Like at once. Users must not know that the whole server crashed, right? 2 types of connections. Of course, that's the only thing that's active there. User connections and the disk that you borrowed, the connection from the disk. That connection is already there and waiting to be redirected to. So in an interview, how would you, because interviews come like this and go like this. Opportunities come like this and go like this. Recruiter calls you, yes or no, that's it. You're gone as soon as you say no, right?
Yeah.
That 50 per hour just went away, flew. But the opportunity might not come again even for 1 year, next year. That, we have this job and I saw your resume, you mentioned that you're MCSA. We exactly need that. Normally recruiters start like that. And we're like, then they start, do you know this? Just try saying no to any one of those required ones. Gone. Next call, I don't know when it's coming. So you need to really prepare yourself now for those interviews that could come and go like this. You say yes, then prepare yourself for being drilled, really drilled into the, okay, what do you see here? You have to explain the whole thing yourself, right? So what do you see now? Can you explain in 2 lines? Maximum, not more than 2 lines. What's going on here?
You have a failover network.
Yes.
And
Second line only now. 1 line done.
all the server resources and the user connections move over to the backup server.
All the server resources and user connections are moving from the active node to the passive node. Perfect. That's a good shot. Good. I mean, if you can explain it in minimum words, this means you know this concept very well. No. No, but do you understand the concept? What is being, I'm just putting it down to the main things that are moving. Cluster resources, like the cluster services here are going down, cluster services here are turning up. So if I put it down in ladders now, cluster resources move from one node to another, active to passive. End user connections move from active to new active or passive, and disk or LAN connections are moved from active to passive. So okay, not 2 lines, 3 lines. But you must be very clear. Interviewer would know right away then and there what did you just say and how much you really know actually from that.
So in the events that we run, we get corrupted.
Oh man,
We'd have to worry about the data on the SAN.
we have to then go to the SAN and maybe there's a highly available 2 SAN devices there, either SAN boxes there,
Right.
and the exact copy is also working there. If not, that's not the case, then the SAN administrator is in a big trouble, and the SAN administrator must be taking a backup.
So, but is that like a industry thing? Like there always
It
have a
happens.
backup SAN or?
Oh yes, SAN. Why do we even put the data in the SAN? Because it's easier to run antivirus on. It's easier to back up from one place. It's easier that huge amount of data is placed there, so you can have highly available SAN as well. 2 SAN boxes. One is just taking clustered SANs as well. One is taking a full backup of the other. So this is high availability on SAN side as well as high availability on the server side. So you can just make anything highly available. Just make tools of those, and it better work. Test them as well. But now this should be. We're gonna still do it, of course, and it's gonna be much clearer after that. But still, we need to understand the concept at every 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm just gonna go back there. Okay, all machines are nearly ready. We haven't talked about quorum. Mucho importante. Okay, so local server. I'm just gonna change the name and IP, and that's it. The rest of the things we can do it later. DC01 is the first server. Press OK. Go to the IP address. Ethernet 01. Ethernet 1 disable. Ethernet 0. So there's a basic configuration. Then there's that. Thanks. So there's that basic configuration, and then there is that clustering configuration that will be separate, so I don't want to mix them together. So I'm just gonna configure it basically 192, 168, 200.50, 192, 168, 200.1. Second machine, first machine is DC01, second machine, as I put in the table, server 01, and third machine of course will be server 02. Go to the second machine, network interface cards, Ethernet 1 disable, Ethernet 0, of course the next sequentially available IP address, which is 192.168.200.2, and the gateway and the DNS. Then we go for the third machine. Oh, one more thing, VM tools must be there, of course. Yep, they're there, otherwise we won't be able to do certain things. Okay, third machine, rename server 03. Oops, had to press OK. Server 02 actually. So change again, go for 2, because DC01, server 01, server 02, right? Okay, and again disable Ethernet 1, enable Ethernet 0. I'm gonna activate it later. We definitely need to activate that. Oh, IPv6 uncheck, v4, quickly give the next sequentially available IP address, 200.3, 200.50 as a gateway, 192.168, 200. I'm going fast because this is just basics, but we need to make sure that the SAN machines are really new and not being used. And the snapshot thing, I'm just repeating that. Maybe I'll forget that. So the name of the fourth machine is SAN01. Name of the fourth machine is SAN01. Press OK. Go to the address, Ethernet 1 disable, Ethernet 0 properties, IPv6 uncheck, IPv4 192.168.200.4 is the fourth machine. 51. All right. So this is for a general network error record. SAN01 is not acceptable name. Seriously. Hey, did anyone get an error of no? Okay, for some reason. Okay, restarting. Name change. Restarting. Restarting. What? Restarting. All right. Oh, started back already. Okay. So I'm just dragging them to 7412 sysnet. Okay, so it's for I'll drag this to this folder. Oops. Okay, so now our machines are ready to rock and roll. Okay. Oh, it's already, wow, activated as well. Cool. I had internet connection for some time, for 2 or 3 seconds, I guess. Really wanted them activated, but not today. But it did get. So just trying to get into those machines and starting the domain, and then putting the snapshot there. So we'll just go quickly here to leave it to the installation of Active Directory, and then we go back to the concepts. So the first concept that we wanted to clear was major thing that clustered resources move when a machine crashes in a clustered environment. User connections move, and the hard disk or the LAN connection move. But how do we create those? So okay, binary files are being added. So just gonna go back to the slide. Okay, so clustered instance of all the associated resources are moved from one node to another. Failover occurs when the node that currently hosts the instance becomes inactive for any reason. So it will only occur when it is inactive, right? One of the resources within the instance fails, and administrator forces a failover. So we can force a failover, or we can automate this task. In Exchange server, anyone used Exchange 2010, 2013, 2007? No? 2013. Okay, so 2013, did you configure DAG as well? There?
No, 2010.
2010, okay.
We
DAG is there, right?
considered was it 2013?
Okay, you're going to migrate. Cool. So the main thing is that in Exchange databases, there is one copy, one active, or 2 copies, one active, or you can have up to 16 copies of one database which has mailboxes inside, right? So, and it fails over itself. You can have it fail over manually as well, or you can fail over. It just fails over if it sees that there's a connectivity issue between the nodes.
That's almost the same thing as always or in SQL.
In SQL, yeah, exactly. So it's just different ways to configure them. So what is quorum? Very, very important, and I think some of it we know, but how does Windows manages quorum is very interesting. What is quorum? Example. Come on. Quorum in your National Assembly? Okay, that was a very good tip. What? The quorum has been met. Now, this is a very good clue. Okay, another clue. The quorum has been met. Let's start the meeting. Now you get the concept behind quorum. The quorum has been met. Let's start the meeting. Or the quorum has not been met yet. We cannot start the meeting until the quorum is met. Now you know it clearly, right? Huh? Hey, nobody had a coffee like me, right? Yeah, no one had a coffee today. You don't want coffee, right? +8. Okay. No. I mean, okay. Quorum in failover clusters, quorum defines the consensus that enough cluster members are available to provide services. So in National Assembly, in Senate, in Parliament, quorum means that enough ministers should be present to start the meeting and to start going through the agendas, right? To discuss something. So quorum just means that enough presence of members is there. If there are 100 members and quorum is 50%, or quorum is 70%, quorum is 40%, at least this minimum number of members should be there to start something. Here, quorum means that I'm going to take down, the Windows, will take down the clustering service if enough members are not up. And now we're talking about more than 2 members. Maybe there are 4 members, maybe there are 8 members, maybe there are 7 members, maybe there are 3 members, maybe there are 5 members. So it's not 2, 4, 6, 8. It could be 1, 3, 5, 9 as well. And we're going to discuss about that, that there could be a time where you might have 1, 3, 5, 9 members, number of members in the cluster instead of 2, 4, 6, 8. Instead of pairs, you might have odd numbers, right? So you would need quorum where you need to decide, are we in majority or are we in minority? If the total members, majority are down, crashed, the whole the whole clustering services will be down. It will take down the whole system. I'm not making the high availability available anymore. If majority of the nodes are down. If majority of the nodes are up, clustering service will stay up. If majority of this, or if the minimum number of members are up, I will not touch the clustering service. So let's go a little further and try to see this. Now you need to explain this because this is very simple as well. Node majority, node and disk majority, node and file share majority. Interviewers asked me this one, quorum in clustering, as well as I was asked. So node majority. What is node majority? Only nodes in the cluster have a vote. Quorum is maintained when more than half of the nodes are online. So let me just draw that now. Okay, so I'm gonna be asking now. There are these number of servers in your cluster. So each server is considered, okay, this is DC, we don't need that. There's one file server. We're gonna explain why we're even adding a file server. Okay, this is node 1, node 2, node 3, node 4. Each node carries what? 1 vote. This is crucial to understand. Each node carries 1 vote. So if I go back to the slide now, node majority, only nodes in the cluster have a vote. So this means, do we have total of 6 votes or 4 votes? If clustering services see that there are, out of 4 votes, I have 2 votes. This means 2 nodes are available. I am pinging and 2 nodes are live. I'm not going to take down the clustering service itself, the whole clustering service itself. The connections of the users will not be disconnected. The disk's connection will not be disconnected. Clustering will keep going. As soon as you have minority of votes, as soon as you have out of 4, 3 nodes are down now. You have just 1 vote, the whole clustering service will go down itself. User connections will be dropped. Hey, fix this first and then come back and tell me to work. I'm Mr. Cluster. I'm the clustering service. Right? So if there are less votes, clustering service will be taken down. If there are majority nodes are available, then actually I put there 4 nodes. Let me just put 5 here. So okay, now I'm going to ask you a question. If this happens, will the clustering service keep running or not? Okay, this you saw, right? Now see this. Node majority, only nodes in the cluster have a vote. Quorum is maintained when more than half of the nodes are online. More than half of the nodes online, right? So clustering service will go down. True or false in this situation? True, false. Clustering service will go down. So see this again. Quorum is maintained when more than half of the nodes are online. Okay, now see the diagram. Clustering service will go down in this case.
No.
So you're saying no. You're saying yes, clustering server will go down. No, clustering server will not go down. Okay, so 2 no's and 1 yes.
Right.
Who's right? So again, last time, quorum is maintained when more than half of the nodes are online. So quorum is maintained means what? Quorum is maintained means the cluster will remain online. So in this situation, clustering services will go down. Yes or no? Wherever is 1 vote written, these are the clustered servers only. Wherever is 1 vote in red written right now. Yeah, it will remain online. So I'm just saying node 1, node 2, node 3, node 4. In fact, I just put it like here. This is node 5. Oh, okay. Every node that is taking part in the cluster is considered 1 vote. Okay. Clustering service will not go down. Okay, guys. Now what? So you're the administrator and some disaster is happening, and or somebody put a magic on your network, that black magic, maybe you heard that it just follows you with bad luck. So 3 nodes went down and 2 nodes are up. Clustering services will keep on going, yes or no? In this situation? No? No? Clustering services will go on in this situation. Yes, no? You're saying no, you're saying no, huh?
Majority.
So 3 nodes are down. Clustering services will keep going. No. Why? More than half should be up. Exactly. Okay, if this is clear, this is very easy, right? Then what is this? Node majority, node and disk majority, node and file share majority. Now this is very crucial. In Exchange, you're gonna see that. in SQL clustering, you're going to see that. In wherever the clustering is used, you're going to see that. And this is now forget that there are okay, let me just do this. Forget that this node exists. In fact, let's not forget that. So clustering service has to reach a decision right now. Not this situation. In any situation, clustering service has to reach a decision. Take it down or not take it down. So what happens in this situation now? Where is the majority? It has to be majority or minority for the clustering service to take a decision. And there we have to create a majority, we have to create a minority. We must do it. It has to be majority or minority. In this case, there is no majority, no minority, right? So we give this guy file server as 1 vote. We store a shared folder. We create a shared folder in which the information of the current status of the clustering is stored. Current status is if 2 nodes are down, the information in the shared folder will be updated. Oh, 2 nodes are down. And this is considered as 1 vote for the whole clustering service to consider whether I should go down or not. So we are putting an information or some files in the shared folder of a file server. File server is not a node. File server is just file server. It is not taking part in anything, right? Related to clustering service. But now it is, by if you create a shared folder that has information about what is the status, current status of the clustering service, or you can create a full dedicated disk, you know, a third, fourth disk you added, but this only contains information about the current status of the clustering. So now what do you see with the, I've added 1 vote here. Clustering services will go down in this situation, yes or no? No, you're saying no. What do you say? What do you say? Why? Maybe it's yes, maybe. I don't know. Why is it no? So clustering services clearly sees a majority. But the 5th vote is coming from just a file services. So clustering service will take it down or not? Yes? No. Because 5th is just file. So this is called shared folder majority, disk majority, or file share majority, right? That you don't want. Okay, there are 2 nodes that can handle the client data. Why you, Mr. Clustering Services, is taking down my network? Don't take it down. I'll just give you that majority that you need for the functioning. I'll show you, I'll trick you into thinking, oh, there's a third node as well, right? If it comes down to a tie, consider the vote of this shared folder that has all the latest information of the current status, or consider the vote of this disk that has the latest information about the current status. But do not take my network down. My clients are okay, their connections are okay, even if I lost 2 nodes. Don't take my network down, right? So this extra share helps. Otherwise, automatically down, while I could have easily managed those users. But I'm not around right now. I'm doing something else, suppose. So you don't want your clustering service to be making dumb decisions, right? But if it is a clear minority, it's going to take it down. This means what? That your connections are now restricted to 1 machine only, or 2 out of 9 machines. They're going to have a really bad service already. All the connections are redirected to, okay, nodes are coming down, so the pressure increases on the remaining nodes. So the users will already be calling, hey, it's really, really slow. What are you doing? So instead of doing that, hey, give me a downtime. I'm asking for a downtime, and I'm fixing it. So either give a good service, or just ask for a downtime. That means this, that give a good service. But if you're really desperate, if you're really desperate, No, not majority. Only the quorum share disk has a vote. Quorum is maintained when the share disk is online. So all that matters here now is that, oh, this guy is up, I will be up no matter. So out of 5 nodes, I lost 4 nodes already. I don't care. Keep the network up, and I'm working on those 4 nodes. I don't care. Just don't take down the whole, clustering services. The thing is that if 3 nodes are down, now what happens? 1 node is up. All the connections of these 3 nodes, this poor node is handling. And since the shared folder is there, hey, we're up. So file share, clustering services will just say, since you put me on this, no majority, since you configured it on this, okay, you want to give bad service. The thing is, it's your choice. You want to give bad service or you want to give a downtime to fix that. Bad service still means that users are able to access the files. They are having a bad service instead of a total disconnection. They are able to access with a very bad service. So it's your choice. How bad is your boss? How bad is your management? How hard they're going to go down on you for bad service or downtime? And what was the reason for 4 nodes going down? And what are we paying you 50 per hour for or 40 per hour for, right? If 4 nodes are, hey, you need some time. Okay, bad service for 1 hour, but after 1 hour, it became a very good service because I took, put up all the nodes again. I just needed some time, and the connectivity was bad. Connectivity was there, but very bad, but was there. Total disconnection, okay, now you're in big trouble.
How does it compromise service?
Oh, if it was SLA, your company is paying dearly, and the company will go down hard on you. That get it up and running ASAP. 4 nodes going down, there must be some really good explanation for that, right? 4 nodes at one time are going down. If you have 4 nodes, if you have just 2, it's already, just 2. So get it up and running now.
Because all the nodes come when you put up. If all the nodes are up, it's not like load balance on all the nodes, right?
It's also load balancing.
It's also load balancing.
Yeah.
All the nodes.
Now it's
So
active.
Okay, and if it's down to 1, then you have all the sessions.
All those are redirected to remaining one. Remaining. Maybe.
I thought like 1 is active and then the rest is passive, like it's waiting.
No, there are different types of configurations here. Active as well. All the nodes can be active, and they could be load balanced.
Right.
And then there is 1 active, all passive, and there is just 2, 1 active, 1 passive.
But the drives on this, are they like an SSD, like these things? It's not like, SATA drives or anything.
No, so how much your company is investing there?
Yeah.
Definitely there are SSDs always.
They're always SSD, right?
They must be SSDs. Some companies, cheaper ones, they just go for others. But SSDs should be there, definitely.
SSD, right?
Suppose you have SSD,
Yeah.
but your network connection is not fiber optic. It's Ethernet. So your SSD speed and the factor of that Ethernet cable is there. And many networks are using that. They cannot afford fiber optic. It's way expensive, very expensive. So you go for your current network Ethernet and configure. Just now what we're about to do on Ethernet, we're gonna configure ours. That's called ITCertification SAN. So, but it works. You can still borrow your machine goes down. Your data is not actually on that machine. It's not going to take down your data. Your data is still safe somewhere else. That somewhere else should be safe actually. You should consider on that somewhere else.
So I have another question. So when, by looking from a design perspective, would you do these things when you actually design and implement it?
Definitely.
So you would choose one of your servers to be actually no majority guest.
Exactly.
If you're very confident.
And we can change that.
Then you would change another server to be a no majority.
Yeah. So we can change that on the clustering services, and you can change it for the whole thing.
So you can do this at the very beginning. You don't have to wait till like one node goes down, then you're like, oh crap, I gotta create a shared folder quickly.
Yeah. No, shared folder is created on the start. In the start. In Exchange server as well. Here as well. Now we're going to configure that. So everything will be configured and decided at the start only, and you can change it anytime later as well. It's going to be affecting the whole network. If there were 10 nodes, it's going to affect the whole network if they're taking part in the cluster.
I'm just thinking like from a design perspective,
Mm.
so you don't have to like wait till the last minute to go.
No,
go
no.
down, then create a file and then do this kind of stuff.
So
this is already done in
this
beginning.
yeah, in the beginning it is done. In Exchange, when you're configuring, it asks where's that file server where you want to create a file share witness. That is called file share witness. Here it's called file share majority, but it is a file share witness, a witness folder, a witness server we say actually. So a witness server is just using a vote. It has nothing to do with actual, failover clustering, right? So quorum you must understand, and the failover clustering you must understand, right? That actually the connections go down.
It's almost like in Cisco they have something called the election process.
Exactly.
The routing hub, they choose which routers you want to take, like who's the master,
Who's the boss?
who's the, and
Oh.
they exchange the routing table.
Oh, okay.
One router goes down, they have like another way of doing it.
Oh.
It's based on.
And the tables are
obviously,
updated.
Yeah, it depends on what protocol you choose to run.
Exactly.
OSPF,
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's called an election.
Election process. And in high availability, this concept is in VMware a lot. It's in wherever you want to make it highly available. Anything. This is a concept. I mean, there has to be an election. So here it decides on this majority. And normally we do create. We're gonna create minimum 2 disks. One disk it will automatically consider as a majority disk or node and disk majority. It will automatically create a quorum on that automatically on one disk. So we're gonna see that, and it's going to be tricky. So we have to be patient and we have to understand the concepts as we go. I'm just going to go back and check. Okay, so Active Directory, I was installing the binary files. I'm just going to quickly upgrade it to New Forest. So it's sysnet domain.local, enter. Definitely I'll just go for that administrator change as well. So sysnet admin, and it's all, wow, it's the air heat is on as well as the outside heat, and somebody thinks that I am very noisy, so the door is also closed. So it's heat from all sides. Sysnet domain. Okay. Next. So dynamic quorum automatically adjusts votes to maintain cluster functionality. Dynamic quorum, it adjusts according to the majority node, and so you can define which nodes have a vote. So configure for 1 vote or 0 votes. You can have a node not having a vote as well. Node not having a vote. Cool. Always configure a witness disk with Windows 2012 R2. Always. So it's going to configure a witness disk itself, which we call witness disk. Clustering will determine when it is best to use. So if I go to the diagram, so we're going to be adding 2 disks, so we can add 10 disks even. The usable disks will be 9 only. Why? If we add 10, 1 is always a witness disk. It's going to take it automatically. It has to configure 1 disk. Hey, you can see our quorum configuration. If 1 machine is down, 2 machines or 3, if we have 3 or 4 machines, I'm gonna consider you 1 vote as well, right? So so if we have 2 disks, if we just select 2 disks, so 1 will be for data, 1 will be for quorum. If we select 5 disks, 4 will be data, 1 will be quorum, right? but it will select one witness disk automatically. Clustering will determine when it is best to use it. Witness vote dynamically automatically adjusted based on cluster membership and dynamic quorum, right? So I'm gonna just grab a glass of water because it's really heated. Oh man. You know what? Jay is really missing a needle. Right? Okay. You're missing lava, right? And when you were absent, we were teasing that one the same way.
I need some fun.
Yeah, you were always looking at that and laughing. Oop. Okay.
Hilarious.
Oh. Remind me to remove this.
The British accent seems to never seen that before.
So let's check it out. And it's nearly done. The domain controller thingy. So, force quorum resiliency in Windows 2012. The cluster detects partitions after a manual force quorum. Force quorum partition is deemed authoritative. So there is a force quorum factor as well. When you have a quorum there, nodes is started by. This is multi-site actually. We're gonna get to that because we need to first understand how basically cluster really works, and that's gonna be a big thing if we can understand that, because we're gonna do it. But there is multi-site as well, where two nodes are down there, so the whole cluster is spanning the two nodes, the two sites. Then how do you configure that? So multi-site clustering is also interesting to know. The thing is, I want to get down to knowing the clustering first at all. Okay, so the proper configuration, I really need to have everyone on the same page who is following. Everyone's following? Or I mean, like, break. Okay, it's 11 o'clock, so let's have a break. So let's try to have those machines up, because okay, let's just configure that. So configuration would be detailed, and we have to understand why we are configuring. So 2 NICs for the, okay, here we have server. Okay, I need to really mess up this file for the naming, so I'm just gonna save it as a second file for it's not, and now I'm gonna mess up with that. So we have server 1. We're gonna add extra network card on server 1 and 2, and configure carefully hard disk for CSP and quorum for both cluster nodes. 2 and 3. Server 2 and 3. Server 4 is. So we're gonna be adding 2 network cards to server 1 and 2. I mean, 1 extra network card and 2 hard disks to SAN. So first of all, let's just configure the networking portion, which is very in detail, and we have to really be careful about that. So I'm just gonna start showing that from a document, because okay, this is so let me just do it and you will see that. The second network card, anyone knows what is heartbeat?
Is it to see if it's alive?
Yeah.
Like, it'll send like pulse or
Pulse.
and
So
then-
it pings every 5
Yeah.
seconds. Every second.
You're alive or you're alive. Yeah.
Exactly. So network cards on those machines will be configured with this. So yeah.
So in heartbeat, we'll just check for network network connectivity, or does it check for like process activity?
Only network connectivity.
To see if that is still on.
Yeah. So yeah, one network card. Suppose this is the network card for a machine. One is for local, configuration. It's all the traffic for the local traffic, and these network cards will be on a separate subnet. So we're gonna actually configure it on 10.0.0.1 and 10.0.0.2. So second network card, and there will be more configuration for each network card, but these two network cards are just going to be responsible for heartbeat. We call it heartbeat network, and therefore heartbeats every second they send a ping. If 5 pings are missing, the failover happens. Active to passive. 5 beats, okay, this guy is not available at once. So let's just add one network card each to the clustering nodes, to would be clustering nodes, which would be the server 2 and 3, server 1 and 2 actually, because DC01 is the our domain controller. So server 2 and server 3. I'm going to go server 2 and add a second network card. So we already have 2 network cards, but the second one is for internet. So, and we have disabled it. So I'm just going to add one more. So total we have 3 network cards, but normally we'll be using 2 network cards. Internet is whenever we need internet in our specific configuration, otherwise it's always 2. The first network card serves as a connection to internet as well, right? But in our case, so this second network card we're not using at all. It's just there for internet. You want to remove it. Otherwise, keep it. It should be disabled. That's all. We're not going to use it for this lab. So add and network adapter next. So in my case, so see this. I'm on VMnet 12 right now. My one network card is on VMnet 12. So if the second network card is on VMnet 12, it's going to be the same network. We're going to have it a separate network. So I am giving it a totally, this is like just giving a separate VLAN. Anyone knows the concept of VLAN? Virtual LAN. Basic purpose. What is basic purpose? VLAN.
Separates the traffic.
Yeah.
Between 2 different like.
One
So
browser,
it's
but
basically
it's
segmenting like a network.
It's segmenting the traffic within a switch. If there are 10 ports, 5 ports, different computer, 5 ports, different computers, you just create a VLAN. Yeah. Different subnets, but also, yeah, you can then have different subnets on that, or same subnet, but if you want to just separate the traffic. So a 10 port switch, suppose, or 8 port switch, 4 ports, all ports are connected to a computer, but inside the managed switch you go and just say these 4 ports will not communicate or ping even to these next 4 ports. You make a group of those, so it's virtual LAN. So otherwise you have separate switch. If you have, it's already separate, but you inside the switch you create VLANs also. This also actually you do there. So in the managed switch you just create VLANs to create virtual LANs, right? This is just doing that. If I just put inside VMware instead of VMnet 12, so I'm just going to add a second network card now, and if I just put it on custom and go to inside of VMnet 12, which is already I'm using, if I go to VMnet 13, it's just like I've created a new VLAN. It's totally, they cannot even ping to each other's network, right?
So this one you're creating on the main server, or?
It's on the DC is not taking part in the clustering services, but it is part of the network. This is on server 1 and 2.
Okay.
So we have named the first server as DC1, so the second server is actually server 1.
Yep.
So VMnet 13, if I put it, I just want to prove that the heartbeat network cards are supposed to be separate subnet, and you can even put it in separate VLANs. So their job has nothing to do with the internal and external traffic going on normally with the first network card. Although, so this is VMware 13. I've added that. Press OK. So on the second server, on server 3, which is server 2 as a in the operating system, server 2 which is taking part in the clustering. So I'm just gonna go there and add the VLAN there. Oh, sorry, second network card there as well, but it has to be on the heartbeat network. So I'm calling it heartbeat network because I'm gonna use VMnet 13 in my case as just for heartbeat network cards. VMnet 12 is where my all the other normal traffic, network traffic, is going through this machine. So VMnet 13 on both, only two of these machines. So it should be heartbeat, right? Now again we have to configure inside. So we have added a network card. I just added an extra thing called VMnet 13 just to make it there. These network cards. So if I go to this network card, they should not even be now pinging each other. Oh, they will not, because we're gonna be not putting the same IPs. So this network card has 192.168, 200.2 and 3, right? But the second one will have a 10 IP range. So I'm just, the new network card I've added, let's rename it and HB. So I'm just renaming that network card as HB. On the first server, I'm going to the second server just for the purpose of renaming. Okay, and renaming it to HB as well. On the second server, the new network card we have added also. So now, first we did the rename, first thing. Second thing, now configure the network card carefully. And what do I mean by carefully? See this. There are several steps to take on this one. First of all, of course, IPv6 uncheck. Number one. Number two, v4, of course, give the static IP, and in our case it's going to be just 10.0.0, oops, 10.0.0.1, and press tab. That's it. Don't give gateway, don't give DNS. And we're not done here. Go to advanced while we're here. Excuse me. Okay, go to DNS. Uncheck this. Register this connections addresses in DNS. In advanced, in DNS, unchecked. So DNS server should not, DNS server on domain controller should not register this IP address 10.0.0 as the IP address of this server as well. Don't register that, right? It's just for heartbeat. They are just talking to each other, and that's all they're supposed to do, right? And in Wins, so, excuse me, LM host. Anyone knows what's LM host file or host file? Ever used it? Host file.
You have the list of the computers, and that file is right there. Whole IP address and name of it.
IP address and name, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's if your DNS is somehow not working, and suppose in users' computers they want to go to a specific site, it's not somehow opening somehow. What somehow means is they are trying to open a site from that particular computer, and it goes to the DNS and requests that, hey, open that site for me from internet, and somehow it's not working. So you can actually put the name of the website and the IP address of the Google, www.google.com, ping it, get the IP address, put it in the host file. And you know where's the host file located? Inside the windows, inside the drivers, inside the bin. That host file acts as the primary DNS or name resolution for that computer, particular computer. If name resolution is not working for specific address, put that address in the host file. Host file does another magic. So you have kids at home, or maybe your friends' kids, and they're really annoying. They're going accidentally to those sites, or those sites are opening up, or some game sites which are annoying and you don't want them to play on that. Go to the host file and put the address of the, so Roblox is one game, roblox.com. My kids go there a lot. I really don't want them to go. So I go to the host file, open there, put the Roblox proper address, and then put IP address as 0000. When they try to open it, first computer check always the host file. Then it goes to the DNS anywhere. So in host file, you're gonna block it effectively. Kids would never know where we did that, right? So even elders won't know. But locally, you can block any specific site. Put the proper name, but put the IP address wrong. It's gonna keep going to 00. Nothing there. Bingo. the IP address is blocked, or the website is blocked effectively. So you can add sites. It's for specific sites, right? So it's very effective. Okay. Advanced. What I did on DNS, I unchecked registered DNS, and on VINs, I unchecked enable LM host lookup. So any kind of name resolution for the heartbeat network cards is unchecked, right? So DNS and VINs, I made these changes by going to advanced, and also unchecked V6 and put this IP address. That's all. Everyone same page, right? Okay, press OK, press OK. Same thing on the second network card on the second server. So it's going to be again on this uncheck IPv6, double click v4, 10.0.0.2, of course, 255.255.250.0.0.0, advanced, again DNS. Don't register it in DNS, register this connections address in DNS, uncheck that. On DNS tab, on VINs tab, uncheck the enable LM host lookup.
Do I have to do it on both?
Both, only heartbeat network cards, yeah, both. So thus the IP address is changed, the rest of the settings are the same for both network cards. 10.0.0.2 is the IP address, the second one, and okay. Make sure at all times the firewall is not open. So I'm just gonna go back to the local server on, the server 2 and server 1 both, just to double check if the firewall is not on. It's not, because you know why? I did not even add it to the domain yet. So I'm just so domain controller is installed on the first server. I'm just gonna take a quick snapshot, because I'm gonna come back to the snapshot now on DC01. After configuring those network cards, well, I should have taken the snapshot before configuring those network cards, but anyway. So on DC01, this is the correct time to take a snapshot. I'm just gonna put that it's activated, because when I come back, I'm gonna see this information. Activated IP address is 192.168. I just put more information. Sometimes I use 201 for some sort of machines as an IP address, and it's DC DNS installed. It's a sysnet domain. Okay, take snapshot. So when I come back, I will see this information. Oh, this is what configured. Okay, cool. And on the DC01, so after quickly configuring those network cards, I'm just going back to the basics. I just want to also change that administrator to that's sysnet admin, because I don't want to sometimes we have to put that domain name / administrator. Instead of that, I'm just going to quickly rename copy this administrator account, sysnet admin, and then disable that sysnet admin, because okay, done. This is important because it gets annoying when you have to type domain name / administrator. So sysadmin is created now. I'll just log off, sign out from domain controller after copying this and going back from sysnet admin, and now I'm just gonna go back and disable that administrator. I don't want to still keep using that, just to keep it out of my way once and for all. So this is mucho importante. So administrator, disable account, right? You get this point. So okay, so HB configured, perfect. Second thing, the sandbox. So I'm just gonna put those major steps here now. First is ping it from both sides, that's all. Ping 10.0.0.2, that's all, from one and opposite as well, vice versa. So configure HB. Then second thing is on sandbox, add and configure 2 disks. Well, let's just add 3 disks. So first one is configure HB, then it is Second major step is this. Then third step is connect disks to cluster servers 1 and 2. So we're going to connect the disks, then we're going to install clustering role on server 1 and 2 because they are taking part in the clustering. Then the major step would be install. Oh, then the major step, the majorest step. Wow, majorest. Major step is that it's going to do evaluation of cluster network, and if you get all greens on the first time, it's going to test aggressively your cluster configuration. And if you get all greens on first time, I'm going to salute you. So and I'm going to salute myself as well, because if I get it right as well. So that's why I'm just going step by step. Cluster should be perfect the first time, because the cluster testing is aggressive. It's going to actually fail over the disks itself. Automatically it's going to do everything that we can imagine. Fail over machine, it's going to say that we're doing that in the background. So the first time if you're green on all the tests, wow, then we can easily just test it for crashing while we have a notepad open thingy. Evaluation of cluster network. And then major step would be add a cluster role. So once you create a cluster, you can add anything on top of it that you want to be highly available. A file server, a Hyper-V, a SQL server, any server you want to be highly available. That is called a cluster role. And then crash test, of course, our crash test. So we are done with configure HB carefully. So let's go for sandbox. Add 3 disks, and then we're going to convert it into a sandbox, and that's going to be interesting. You're going to see a lot of interesting stuff now. So how to create, and you can use it in VMware. Actually, I used it in my VMware class. They use OpenFiler for a sandbox in VMware Labs. So I used OpenFiler as well as the Windows sandbox and proved it. Hey, VMware can easily use that now, and we used it. That was cool. Step by step. What we are doing now is exactly what we did in VMware to make available some disks, third storage for a virtual environment, Hyper-V, right? For hypervisors, they need a separate storage to use virtual machines. Okay, so server 4 is supposed to be our sandbox. Obviously, all servers need to join the domain. Oops. Okay. Okay. Join the domain. Sysnet domain. Enter. Sysnet admin. Oh, you all did that already. Okay. So what if you did that already? Add 3 disks to this sandbox. In fact, I'm just creating 3 disks now while that is joining. So on server 4, I have just 1 disk, 100 GB. Let's add 3 disks. Disk number 1. When you're adding a disk, it's just next finish. 60 GB, yes, it's okay. We don't want any specific data there. And finish. The second disk, just like in storage, we were closing our eyes and adding the disk. Just do that. So this next finish, right? Okay, so 360 gigs disks are added to sandbox. That's it. That's all we need. And while this is going on, I'm just gonna restart this machine and have that. Then oops. Hey, when there was a break, why didn't you let me join into the domain? What am I doing? Sysnet domain. Okay, bad joke. Hey, you have to walk across the road to get Tim Horton? Oh, yeah. Wow. You love walking, right?
I love it.
You're lucky. So many people.
Especially, like, it's nice weather.
Oh, yeah. Good. Alright, while it's joining, so 3 disks are added. 3 disks are added? All right, or not? Okay, it's the machine, right?
Yes.
Blame it on the machine. Yeah.
Is this on the VM or within the on the last 3 disks?
So the fourth server,
Yeah.
virtual machine,
Yeah.
should have 3 extra disks. Yeah.
Right. And then
It's on the VM. Yeah.
on the VM.
Yeah. Where else we do it? We add that.
I thought you wanted to create
Hmm.
like file and storage. But I guess you still need to create it first and then.
So we're gonna go there. Hey, was the sugar more in the coffee, right? Oh, okay.
What type of time are we?
Mhm. Oh, next X finish. When you're adding, that's it. Next X finish. So 60 gigs is okay. So I'm just gonna add this machine to the network as well. This is added. Oh, not added. Okay. Password is not correct. Sysnet domain. Press OK. Sysnet admin. Seriously. And work group here. What? Oh, thank you. Oh, that. Hey, I think it's the servers. No, servers are not working. Is there a heater here? I'm heating.
Okay, I'm sitting beside the user and it's still cold.
No, there's no heat coming from there.
No, it's not.
Coming, and you because you're beside the window as well. Okay, so and yeah, 2 machines are adding. So what are we supposed to do with the disks? So first of all, the heartbeat. So I'm just going through the document now, always, because there's so many steps to do. Okay. Second thing is, oh, seriously? Okay. Yeah, it's just explaining that. ISCSI target. Okay, add 3 disks and then ISCSI target role under the file and storage has to be added. ISCSI target will convert this machine into sandbox, which means we can borrow disks from this machine and give it to other as just borrowed disks. Okay, ISCSI target is added, and then the disks are brought online, and then we are just creating new volumes on them. I'm just going forward, so we'll just do that all in one go. And then we create the virtual disk. Okay, got it. So logging in now, and what we're doing is first we added the disks. So okay, let me just log in from sysnet admin here. Admin. Okay. And the sandbox sysnet admin. Alrighty, so I'm just gonna go back now, and okay, so 3 disks added. First step, added, right? Okay, second step, go to add roles and features. Next, add roles and features. Next, until you go to the roles and file and storage, extend that. File and ISCSI. This is inside where we have the ISCSI target server. As you select that ISCSI target server only, add features, then you will be If this is all we need, don't go for the second one. This is for VDI environments, or for virtual desktop environments.
iSCSI target or something?
Only iSCSI target server, right? So once this is selected, go ahead. If it pops up for the feature, just go for the feature as well. Next, and click restart if it wants to install. So iSCSI target. So what is target and initiator? Third major, we can say, concept here is what is target and initiator. So with this messy diagram, there are targets, initiators to the target. Initiator asks, hey, I need a disk, I need to borrow a disk, and the iSCSI target server offers those disks. See, so easy. Anything else? So this iSCSI target feature, if it was not there, you would have gone for OpenFiler and downloaded that, or Starwind and downloaded that, and then you would have configured it long, complex stuff to configure, and then it would have ready to offer the local disks to others to use that, right? So iSCSI target feature just makes it so simple that it's now built into that Windows environment. Initiators are configured in every machine. Initiator, so we just click initiator and it says, okay, where is that disk, what is the IP of that server who is offering the disk? Put the IP, that's it, you got the disks. So we're going to do that now, right? But there has to be a target and there has to be an initiator, right? So let's see how it works. I'm going back to the sandbox now. We have added the iSCSI target server. Let's close that. Okay, so now in file and storage services, of course we have to we'll be seeing 3 disks now. So if I go to disks, we should be seeing 3 disks now, and offline. Yep, there are 3 disks offline, all. So we have to convert these disks to virtual disks. We can offer the disks virtually over the network to any machine. So first we're gonna make it normal disks, like bring online and format them. That's it. Bring online, format, bring online, format. Then we're gonna convert them one by one for virtual disks. That virtual disk process can only be done when these disks are first made usable. So they are offline, right? So right click, bring online, press yes, right click. So did you go to the disks?
Yeah.
Did you add it?
Sorry, I was just
Maybe on the wrong server?
yeah, I installed the SCSI, the DC.
Oh, wrong, no problem. So yeah, sandbox. Although we could have made the DC as the sandbox as well. We could have used that as well, but that would have been
No problem.
well, you know what? It should have no. It works fine there as well, on DC as well. It's just that the concept of what is clustering, so that everything is separate. That's why, just to explain it easily. So it's still partition unknown, so we really need to format that. So I'm just going to go to the first disk which I brought online and just take it offline. No, I'm just kidding. No, so it's no new volume now. So just format it basically. So disk 1, next. The selected disk will be brought online and initialized as a GPT. Yeah, GPT is okay. It supports bigger disks and more partitions, that's all. So press yes. Yeah, 60 GB. Just next, finish, right? New volume, next, create. That's it. Close. So first disk is GPT. Second disk, new volume, just next, finish, right? Nothing here. Disk 2. Next, create. and 3. Third unknown, new volume, next, press OK, next. Wow, so simple. Okay, the tricky part starts now. You're already. Wow, how do you do that? Wow, that was yoga, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. That was weird. Okay. So, but just nice stretching. Cool. Okay, 3 disks online and partitioned with GPT. Done? Dude, it done? I know you're reaching there. Come on. Something else happened, or it's the speed of the. Yeah, just blame it on. No, but really, it's difference between SSD and. In George Brown, the students bring their own external SSDs,
Wow.
and
The computer?
yeah, so the computers they have SSD is a C drive which they cannot use. The permission is lifted from there; they cannot use it, and it's SSD C drive, and the D drive is 1 terabyte and it's SATA. So somebody really sucked in planning.
Yeah, because it's like one of those external drives.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
SATA. Yeah.
No, so they have internal drive as SATA, which the students are allowed to use,
Right.
and it's SATA, and the SSD is just C drive, which is Windows. So but they still bring their own SSDs as well. But I requested, hey, maybe that other new PC. Oh, this is the old one, right? But it's everything's set up now. But I asked Sam, and he said that it's new ones are SSD, so it's just a double work. I mean, if somebody created the machines already, that's good. Otherwise, if you transfer the template machine there, then so you just have to stay here tonight till 9. Okay. Yeah, all the virtual machines but first we need to make sure it's SSD because he said that. So just make sure. Oh. 500 SSD external. Oh, it's cheaper. How cheaper?
I bought from here from
Oh yeah, cool. So yeah, he has more.
I have got to, I don't know what's the price going. I got it for 150.
Ooh, 500.
Yeah.
Wow, that is cool. Alrighty, let us go ahead. And now let's just go to the tricky part. I love to say that. Okay, ITCSI. So once we see the disk, there is that portion called ITCSI. This will only appear if you have put the ITCSI target server role. If you've installed that role, it will only show up then. So if I go now to ITCSI, it says to create an ITCSI virtual disk. Why are we creating a ITCSI virtual disk? Because with ITCSI language, with the ITCSI protocol, we can offer these disks across the network to other machines who want to borrow it. Through ITCSI protocol only, we can offer the disks to be borrowed, or they will start appearing to the target computers. So we're gonna whichever disk we want to offer to others. Hey,
Good afternoon.
good afternoon.
How are you all?
Yeah, cool.
3 came today.
Huh?
Only 3 came.
Yeah, the most serious one.
Studios.
Yeah, no, the fourth one may or may not come. So we're just 3.
Everything okay? This Michael who sent me. So only 3 because we can't talk much about discount. Probably $50. Good install and other expenses. So I expected at least 5.
Yeah, there were 5, but one dropped out. One said clearly one is making a
At least-
decision.
At least 3 there just to get over that.
Yeah. Yep.
Project is new now.
Oh wow, that was the first at once. That was cool.
Okay then.
Cool. Thanks.
Okay.
Mm.
Talk about it.
Sure. Thanks. So resume to create an ITCSI virtual disk. So the purpose is we need to offer this to others. If we don't do that, those disks are sitting on this sandbox and not going anywhere, right? Okay, to create iSCSI, let's just start the wizard. I have clicked this option here to create an iSCSI virtual disk, and this wizard starts. Now we have an option from all the disks we had. Of course, we're going to avoid the system volume partition, system volume, or the C drive, which is already 100 GB. So we already know that by the size that we're not touching that. We have the 59 GBs. So I'm just going to go for drive E first. So we can offer one disk at a time by going through this wizard again and again and again for each disk separately to offer it to any of the other machines at any time they want. It's not like the initiators ask and they get it already. Whatever whichever server you want to offer these disks, only they can get that. So you're gonna see that now. How do we really make sure that only that particular server gets this E drive, F drive, and G drive? So first is E. We're gonna convert it, or we're gonna add the feature of virtual disk, iSCSI virtual disk to this. So for that, I'm selecting the E drive first.
Yeah.
Next, and it's asking for specify iSCSI virtual disk name. So we can just go for Quorum. First one would be I always hate that. What's the spelling of Quorum?
Why did you bring some of your other students from the college here?
If they want to pay, yeah. Those who are in colleges, they're like, oh, my dad pays. Oh, the government pays for me. Okay. They're like, ugh. I mean, I started talking to them and they're like, huh? Don't talk about expenses.
Yeah, promote. You're not supposed to promote, right?
Not during,
What?
but once the course is over. I have their emails, right? So if they really want to improve, okay, go ahead, but not during the session. Or if it's not conflicting, if I don't, so I'm teaching SQL there, right? So I cannot promote SQL, and it's all recorded. What? Why did you make me say that? Okay.
I thought like when you sign a contract, you're not supposed to promote like anything that you're teaching, like as if your own business. You can't promote.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Let me hide behind that
Yeah.
screen. So,
You know?
so if the courses are done,
Yeah.
and so in Humber as well, I'm not supposed to do whatever courses they are teaching, right? If it's a different course which they are not intention to teach at all, if that product is they're not selling that and I'm selling that product,
Yeah.
and if those students are out of the contract, they are no longer their students, then I do that. If they're no longer their student, or if they're not using that product, so I cannot teach MCSA online to those who are already doing here,
Right.
but they're not doing, whatever you're not doing here. And I asked Sam first, hey, are you doing that or not? So he's always. So I said, okay.
That's what we should.
And thank God the mic is not very sensitive. So I'm answering someone, and there's no question recorded there. Thank you very much, laptop. Yeah. So. Oh, what's the slide? Yeah. QUORUM. Oh, it was correct. Okay. If I make it wrong, does it say that? Okay, no spell checker. Okay. So next. So this is the size of the disk, which we definitely don't want to be fixed for now because we don't want it to occupy our limited space already. Dynamically we're gonna go, but we still have to define a size there, right? So 59.7, just use the whole thing. Dynamically expanding. So second, everyone chose that except for Sutarjan. You're there? You're reaching there, right? Okay, that's the spirit actually. You never give up. So dynamically, next. New iSCSI target. So this is the iSCSI target we're going to be creating. So new, and the name would be, okay, maybe these disks are for the clustering for accounts department, right? So okay, accounts, disks, suppose this clustering is for the SQL server which accounts department is using, or for any, you could just name it anything, you know, cluster 1 or cluster disks 1 or iSCSI target 1, accounts iSCSI disks. Well, that would be great. Okay, you can just put anything as long as you know that these are the disks used for iSCSI, because when you go to this local machine, these are local disks as well. You don't want to mess up now once they are being borrowed by some other, and some other remote machine is actually saving the data, right? So when you log in locally, you should know which disks are part of the account iSCSI disks, or which disks are converted to virtual disks now. Okay, target name and access, account iSCSI disk. Now I want to show you the specified target name contains one or more characters. Oh, we cannot make spaces. Okay, converted to, oh, if I press yes here, it's going to add the dashes there, so there cannot be spaces.
What's the name for the specific target?
Target name and access, right?
Huh? It says name.
So this is iSCSI accounts iSCSI disk or accounts disk. You can just put it there, anything. But I put there accounts iSCSI disks, accounts department and iSCSI disk for them. Okay, next. Now, what was I saying before? That access servers. What is access servers? You know, so these 3 disks I'm offering to machines. Maybe there are 10 servers. It's not like that any server who has the initiator software, every server has the initiator, you know, just click that and put the IP address and it will get the address. So you have to define here which servers are allowed to use this particular disk. So we're gonna add 2 servers, right? Because they are both taking part in the cluster. So add. Now when we click add here, like this, from here, and it's going to ask which particular servers. There is IQN, there is DNS name. Do you want mirror for that? Magnifying glass for that? No? Yes? Okay, cool. So IQN name is the name of that machine. So if I go to the target server, or if I go to the server who's going to be asking the disks, so if you go to the server there and go to tools, see this iSCSI initiator. It's that tool with which it's going to ask to borrow the disks from our target, you know, that target server, iSCSI target server. So if I click iSCSI initiator, it's asking that iSCSI service is not running, so run it. I'll say yes, ready, press yes. When you ever click iSCSI initiator first time, it's going to ask if the service should be run. Yes, of course, otherwise how could we manage the iSCSI initiator, right? So press yes. Yes, run the iSCSI initiator service. The first time it only asks, then okay, this is the iSCSI initiator which is always available in every server, I think every client as well, but it's available in the server. What is asking? To discover and log on to a target using a basic connection, type the IP address or DNS name of the target and then click quick connect. So through this initiator, what do? We put the IP address of course of the sandbox, and iSCSI disks, if they are there configured, it's going to see them. If they're not configured, it's not going to see them, right? But I am putting a restriction here. I'm going back to the sandbox now, that only the server having the IP address of 192.168.200.2, okay, and click add again. IP address 192.168.200.3. Why I'm putting these IP addresses? Which IP addresses are these? Which are these and why I'm putting? Yeah.
2 and 3 are the cluster.
That's going to take part in the clustering.
Yeah. But they're not DNS or DNS. Oh, it's DNS name, right?
DNS name or IP address.
Okay.
Easiest way is IP address.
Mm-hmm.
Easiest connection. You want to go through name resolution, go for DNS name, right? Okay. 192.168.200.2, 192.168.200.3 are the only servers that are allowed to take this to borrow this hard disk, right? If you add third server, that server will be allowed to borrow the hard disk as well. This means the data will be saved on the disk from the third server as well, right? So these are the two servers that are allowed, huh?
You have to browse and find the computer? Or?
No, don't browse. So click add,
Yeah.
see this,
Yeah.
drop down here
And then
and click the IP address. Then just put the IP address. This is each server, same thing again. Click add again, then go down again, put the IP address again, whichever servers you need to offer the disk, right? Both are added, right? So add and then go to IP address. You can go for DNS name, MAC address as well, but I'm just going the easy path, IP address, right? Dude, it done, right? Let's see the evaluation test after that. So anyway, still few more steps. Okay, these servers are allowed to borrow this particular disk. That is just E drive I converted to. We are converting to virtual disk, right? Then we're gonna go for F and G as well. Same thing. Oh, but don't go ahead of me because there's something that you might miss. Next, there's enable CHAP. So this is what? Enable authentication. Optionally enable authentication protocol to authenticate initiator connections, or enable reverse CHAP to allow the initiator to authenticate the iSCSI. So it's two-way authentication. Initiator is asking the target is offering the disks to the initiator. If you want both of them to be prompted with the password, this is the area to prompt them for a password, username password. This is extra layer of security. So let's just avoid that, because sometimes they don't pop up, but they don't go ahead as well. So okay, go ahead and figure out that one. Okay, so and these are still CHAP, so challenge handshake authentication protocol. This means they are clear text passwords. Whatever password you're using, a hacker could just get it like this. So next, okay, done. That is just one disk we converted to virtual disk to be offered to just two specific servers, right? If you have 50 disks, then you need to go for PowerShell. And a tricky PowerShell, nasty one. Okay, close. One disk is available, but I want to offer the rest of the two as well. So one disk is showing here this. I'm gonna go for the second, same thing all. Third, same thing all, right? So, but make sure of one thing, which so this is, leave it here like this, and I'm gonna go again to start the same process by new iSCSI virtual disk, right? So start again for E is done. Now F we're going for, right? Because at least minimum we need two. One is for quorum, one is for data, and the rest for data. So new iSCSI virtual disk, same wizard starts again. Let me know if I'm going fast. This time I'm going for F drive, right? Everyone there? Yes? Oh, okay. You're reached there. Wow, man. Okay, F, next. Name of this disk, specify iSCSI virtual disk name. So first one was accounts disk 1. No, what was the disk name? Okay. Accounts dash iSCSI. Now I'm just gonna put it disk 2. Disk 2. I should have named it 1 before, but I will consider it 1 without putting the number there. So this will be 2. Okay, next, dynamically expanding, again the same thing, 59.7. Next, now there is target, existing target, where we have to join all the disks to the existing target. Why?
You don't have to do it.
Also, this will be offered as a collective, as a collection, that can be used by those two specific servers. In this iSCSI target, those two specific servers are only added. If you want to add 10 different servers, go for a new target. If they are supposed to be adding some data of another department, or it's a separate data stream, separate type of data, or you want just data separation. Okay, existing one, because I want this just to be added and collectively being offered to those two specific servers. So next, it's the same, I mean existing one, and done. I'm gonna go for the third one, little quick. Okay, second disk added. First I named quorum actually. Okay. Task second, I was supposed to name data actually, but anyway, we named it the name of the iSCSI target, and whatever you name, it's just the name. So I'm just again starting the same wizard, new iSCSI virtual disk, and now you know the drill. So I'm gonna go for G drive, the last one. Next, now what I was supposed to put there was data. So it's a data disk, and the previous one was also a data disk, but it's going to let us use as a data disk. We just forgot to name it, label it. So data 2, the first one was data 1 actually. Next, dynamic 59.7. Next, same existing iSCSI target, because we want to offer them collectively to those two specific servers, and create. Okay, I think the target side is done, but there's a last step as well. Everyone, you're seeing 3 here? Okay, Michael, you're seeing 3? Sudarshan? 3?
First two are data, right?
First one is quorum, the next two are data. You know, we put that name ourselves, it's going to automatically detect that and decide itself. It's just to explain how one of them would be quorum. Okay, final step is this: assign iSCSI virtual disk. This will really make it available. Assign iSCSI virtual disk. Right click this, then right click this, and then right click this. So if I collectively select all of them, oh, it just offers remove. So right click the first disk, assign iSCSI virtual disk. It goes again through the wizard, assign it to these two servers. The IP addresses are showing here, right? Right. Next, assign. Then again, second disk, assign. Yeah, these two specific servers. Next, assign. Close. Third one, again, assign. Specific servers, assign. Okay, close. We are done now. If everything was good, let's go to the other servers and start the initiator, iSCSI initiator, as I started for the one server, and now ask these disks, please, I need these disks, can you give me? So from the server side, we offered it to the specific two servers by mentioning the IP addresses, and we assigned it as well to them. It's just like commit, press the button commit, and or just press the button apply. It's like that. So on the server side, if you have done these tasks, let's go to one of the servers and the second one. Then on the first server, I already started the iSCSI initiator, or I'll close it and go to tools. This is what we are supposed to do. Go to iSCSI initiator to ask for a disk to borrow, right? So iSCSI initiator, if it asks to start a service, press yes, and then this will open. What it is asking here, it's asking, hey, where are your disks that you want to borrow? So I'm saying, oh, it is on 192.168.200.1. It's a 1, right? Where are the disks that we want to borrow? 4. Exactly, SAN server 4. This is not the only step. We have to be very careful about this now. It better detect it. And oh, one more thing. Before doing that, I'm going to quickly go to the SAN server and check the firewall. That's the showstopper. That's always creating troublemaker. So if I go to the SAN server, oh, in my case it is open. Firewall is on. Okay, let me just quickly turn it off. Off on that. Since I joined the rest of the machines to the domain, I'm sure the firewall is on in there as well. Yeah, it is on the clustering machines as well. Not good. Turn off. Second server, local server. Turn off. You know, whenever we would try to detect the disks and they would not detect, then we would find out firewall, then we try again. After turning off, it would just work. So let's just do that in the beginning. Okay, I have turned off the firewalls on all three. They were on for me. So again, ask initiator on the first server and click connect. It's going to detect like this, connected, and IQN number is showing here. IQN number is a combination of, you know, the IP address, the full FQDN name of that server, and it's just giving the location of the target server, right? So SAN1 account size kasi disks is the name of the overall you know, disks. So login succeeded should be offering here. When you are you seeing this screen when you click quick connect? Okay,
Yes.
press done. Second thing, mucho importante, is go to volumes and devices, the tab called volumes and devices, and click auto configure. 3 should appear there, 3 links. So far so good. All right,
Working with firewall on.
with firewall on.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. Let's see.
No, like I realized one of them didn't have it off.
Okay.
Connected, I turned it off now.
Okay. Later, it
Yeah,
definitely gives problems. Then we are ahead, and you know the one. Okay, 3 disks.
Yep.
If they were 10 disks, it would have shown 10 disks, right? But press OK. The weird thing. Let's just okay. Let's just see the weird thing now. Those 3 disks were properly formatted on the sandbox. Yes. Then we converted to virtual disks. Now they were available for borrowing for anyone, right? Now we added those 3 disks here. So these disks added are same like you go to the market, buy 3 physical disks, come back and attach it to this particular server physically. That's just like same thing, but actually we borrowed it, right, from someone. Where are those 3 disks? How do we check them now? They should be inside the server. They should be showing now as local disks, right? So we go to file and storage services of this server where we just added the disks and click the disks. Do you see those disks? All the disks? I see them, right? It looks like as if I just added the 3 locally there, but they are actually borrowed disks, right? They're not going to appear as borrowed. They're going to appear as a local disk. They are just part of this machine now, but actually they're borrowed. And this is in production environment. You would see the same thing. 70 disks.
Offline though. Those are
Yes, it's showing offline. Let's take them online because we need to really configure them, right? So again, if we go there, bring online, are they formatted already? So I'm bringing online all 3. Bring online, bring online. I don't think they're formatted. So while they were formatted there in sandbox, here they are totally new non-configured disks for us. We just borrowed them, right? And we need to go through this once only because we're gonna add these disks to the second server as well. These same disks, second server, they will appear there as formatted if we format them here now, right? If you don't format them here, you have to format there. Any one server, you just have to format them, right? This is just like you bought new disks, but they are actually borrowed from there, right? So right click online first, new volume, next, disk 1, yeah, next, yeah, it's gonna be GPT 559 GB, next, New volume, yeah, whatever. Go create. So it's new volume and next finish, right? So first done. Second, new volume, next. Press OK. Next. Finish. So when you borrow the disks, any one of the server, you have to just configure them. The rest of the servers, you just have to bring it online and they are formatted already for the rest of the servers. But any one first server, you have to configure them like this. Oops. Okay, the last one is this. Next. GPT. Next. Easy, right? So okay, I have configured these 3 borrowed disks properly on first server. Now the same procedure I will adopt for the second server, right? So on the second server, I click initiator. That's it. Same thing. ITCSI initiator on the second server. Press yes. On the second server, the only difference from the first server is you don't have to go through the new volume and format it. That's all. You have to bring it online, but that's it. Since you configured on the first server, second server, you don't have to do that. So ITCSI initiator on the second server now. So definitely in the target, we're gonna put the 192.168.200.4, the sandbox, quick connect. First one will show, done. Then go to the fourth tab, volumes and devices, auto configure. All 3 links should be showing. Press OK. Right? Everyone remembers that, right? So now once they are added, I need to make sure they are usable. So I'm gonna go to the file and storage services, click the disks just like the last time. They are offline, but they are properly configured already. So right click, bring online. That's all I need to do. They are already GPT. Bring online. Press yes. Bring online. Press yes. All right. Sorry? No, because they're already created. If you want to try, it's going to just override that. But GPT is showing there. It's already created there. So if they are created, can we see them? Can we store data right now? I mean, like if I just go to the, see, all these are showing now in this PC or my computer, right? So they should be showing on. They are just extra drives that we can use now. Even at home, we can use that sandbox. Oh, I need extra disk in my old computer there. Okay, just don't add extra disk. Borrow it from over the network. It's gonna work fine. This is an extra storage you're offering to another computer. If you have a high-end server, just add disks and offer it, or create volumes, create partitions and offer the one partition there and one partition there. So it's very useful anywhere. Okay, both computers are showing extra disks. So this means we are ready for the showdown. Was our configuration perfect? The evaluation will take time, and evaluation will test aggressively each and every portion, and I hope there are no errors. If it's all green, wow. So let us go there now to the next step, which is adding the clustering services to the 2 servers, right? So I'm going to add the clustering services on both of them. Just go to the add roles and features, just 2 of these servers, not the DC or nor the sandbox, server 1 and 2. So clustering services being deployed on number 1. Where are the clustering services? They're not in the role. And there it is, failover clustering in features. They are not in the roles. Go ahead and go to the features, failover clustering, add features, failover clustering, add features, next, finish. Restart if it needs, it will. Press yes. While it is installing, I'm just going to go to the second server quickly and add roles and features. Next. features. There's a failover clustering, add features, next, restart if you want, install. All right. After that, the first option is, the first major step is evaluate your network configuration. So we went step by step, we took our time. Let's see if it was all worth it. No, we're gonna troubleshoot that, right? If there's a problem. So clustering feature is installed. Installed? Okay. It's okay. Started. Michael,
It's still on the second.
second one. Yep.
Yeah, I'm good.
For both. Cool.
This is done, yeah.
Okay. So if it is installed, close. The first server or the second server, we have to configure the clustering service on any one, but they should be available on both clustering feature, right? So we added the clustering feature now. We're going to configure any one of them. So in the tools, it should now show failover cluster manager. So we got the disks from the sandbox, and we have the two heartbeat network cards in place. Now when we start the configuration of the failover cluster manager, it's going to check each and every step of the configuration. Okay, failover cluster manager. So this is how it looks like, failover cluster manager, and there's that validate configuration. And that's our major step. Like, we are good with that. Whoa, that's cool. Okay, validate configuration. So all I did is start from tools, the failover cluster manager. Let's go ahead with validate configuration, and may God help us. That's all we can say.
I gotta wait till you install on the other server too as well.
It has to be on the other server, otherwise validation will fail us.
So
Oh, yeah, it's both servers, right? And both which servers? Server 1, server 2, right?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
So it's installed on both servers.
Yeah, and yeah, but I could have used it for DC1 as a SAN as well. We could have used 3 machines, but the concept is always much clearer when we used all the proper machines for the proper roles, because this clustering is the most important of the whole MCSA, one of the most important. But every other topic you will see is wow, okay, also most important.
So you click on validate.
Yep.
configure.
Oh, you're already there. Yeah, exactly. Right click, validate. Next, enter name. Which names? The DNS names of the servers, the 2 servers. Oh, the names of those servers which you want to validate. So we have server 1, server 2, right? So let's hope our name resolution is working now. Well, it should be. So click browse. By name we need to add them, right? So server, I think we named it, yeah, server 1, server 2, right? So just put server and check name. Yeah, there are these 2 servers. See, if we put server 1, 2, 3 like this, first one is the domain controller. So we actually named a domain controller, so it's not appearing here at all. So before I used to ask for, okay, create server 1, 2, 3, 4, that's it. Naming the server by the roles is even better. Okay, server 1, server 2, press OK. These are the 2 servers. Mr. Validation of failover cluster, please check these 2 servers. We have taken a lot of time to configure them, so please validate us, and please all should be green. So when I click next, it's all run all tests recommended or run only tests I select. No, go for all. This should be comprehensive, right? So run all tests, and
Just the both servers going to be in cluster or the DC as well?
no DC.
No DC, right?
Yeah. You did not rename it DC1, server 1, server 2, server 3. Right? Did you name it like that?
I think it's DC and then member 1, member 2, and
Okay,
then,
cool.
SAN.
So you just go for member 1, 2.
Okay.
Oh, restarted. Oh, so run all test, and here goes nothing.
Fail.
What?
See?
You see that? Not yet, right?
So do you have to have the second network card through the heartbeat in order to pass it out?
Exactly. It's not gonna pass if you don't have that.
But actually we have to have multiple.
Bingo. And normally new servers are coming with at least 2 or 4.
So where did we set up? Could you verify? Could you set up how many things the heartbeat need to do? Always five.
It's automatic. So once failover cluster detects that, it starts after validation, of course.
Okay. That's
So-
something automatic.
Yeah, it's automatic. So good luck with that. Now this should have been the time for break. Right. Mhm.
So how it knows which network card to use for the heartbeat?
Well, whichever is you're using already for internal, communication like DNS and the normal network card, just add a second network card and just put it with the separate subnet. People even use the same subnet. 192.200.2, 200.546 for that. And some people only use one network card even.
Right.
Hey, use it as a heartbeat as well as local.
Yeah, but we didn't verify like 10.0.0.1.
Just ping it. That's the only verification we have. Or this guy will test for us.
Okay. So just look for whichever don't have DNS and whatnot.
Yeah, that is must. That is compulsory. Otherwise, DNS will enter. Hey, this is also an IP address to reach this server. 10.0.0 should not be the IP address to reach that server.
What's a good like best practice when it comes to designing
Mhm.
whole like have like separate like network segment just for like the EMZ zone with all the pens?
This is
And
the
then-
best
and then
practice.
have like the 198 for like other external.
We always do that. Always have a separate. They go to that length of having a separate switch connection, physical connection going. Otherwise, they go for separate subnet only. Range, separate range for that. Even if it's not VLAN, we already VLAN as well. So it's no communication between two cards in the same PC, same server, not PC. So, but yeah, in banks they do that. Even the heartbeats are on a totally separate VLAN. Their traffic should not be bothering our usual traffic because their traffic is huge as well.
They're gonna like congest it. They're talking
Yeah.
more often than
Every second,
normal
yeah.
clients will talk.
Definitely. So it should have a separate VLAN, broadcast domain, separate. Hey, you're going for Cisco as well, right? Do self-study. Come on. Oh, it's dangerous. No, it's Cisco concepts. So many jobs they're asking network side you can do as well. And
A lot of places stop asking for CCNA. Everybody keep asking for CCNP now.
yeah. Oh, okay.
It's a little too much. Yeah.
Hey guys. Hey, all 5 inventory. Oh yeah. See this? All 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 are green. Success, success, success. If you go way down, everything is green. So we took time to configure each and every step and try to understand. And it must be green for everyone. Unless there's some local issues. Oh, this PC, good luck. Man, this Sarah. Anyone else near to done? Done?
Yeah.
Alright. All green, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So salute to 2 of us. Third one is joining. Done? Alright. 3 of us. And 4th salute is coming, but it's gonna be taking a lot of time. So let's go ahead for the video.
It's definitely better than the 411.
Yeah. Exactly. So click finish, and it's going to start the creation of a failover cluster. So validation is done, it automatically starts the next wizard, right? So next, and cluster name. Now we have to give a virtual name and a virtual IP address. Virtual name and a virtual IP address to let the traffic reach this cluster and the active node of this cluster through a virtual name and a virtual IP address. So in front, there will be just one virtual name like cluster dot something something, and the IP address should also be next sequentially available IP address or any IP address in your range available, right? But this IP address must never be used, of course, like any other IP address, unique, and the cluster name should be totally unique. But behind this name and IP, there is no physical machine that it is assigned to. It's a virtual name, a VIP, a virtual name, virtual IP address and virtual name or a cluster name. So if I put it in the diagram, oops, I always click the snipping tool. So in this diagram, if I go for a virtual name that cluster dot and the FQDN, of course, so sysnet domain dot local, or accounts cluster, or whichever cluster, or cluster 1, whatever, and the IP address 192.168.200 dot maybe 70 we never used and we will never use, so whatever's, and you should put in an Excel sheet that it's for the cluster so nobody gets to use that, and especially it should not be in the DHCP range. Oh, I think I have it in DHCP range, so 100. Okay, so this is through which the clients will be connecting, and through this name it will know which machine is active, which node is passive. Maybe the node, so the traffic is going through this, or the application knows only this IP from which to access these files, but the cluster will know which machine is active of the two. So today this is active, this is passive. Tomorrow this is active and this is passive. Next week this is active again and this is passive. So clients have no idea which machine is now active, which machine is now, and this is 2 machines. Maybe there are 10 machines. Which ones are down, which ones are up? Client is not supposed to know that. So this cluster, through this cluster failover clustering and through the virtual IP, it will know where client's data is currently residing on whichever node, whichever is active. It will know that, and it will redirect that data automatically. The client has not to, it's not supposed to know that which machine is active, which is passive. Through this virtual IP and clustering services, it will know which is active, which is passive, right? So we are giving name to a cluster. We are giving FQDN to a cluster. We are giving an IP to a cluster. Through this, the traffic will be automatically redirected to the active node. Whichever is active today, whichever is active tomorrow, whichever is active after 2 weeks, it has to decide. It will know that automatically. So client it doesn't care. Client doesn't care, right?
So the IP address that we could assign for this, if we have DHCP configured already, we can use one of the IP addresses from the excluded range.
Yeah, any critical resource,
Right.
no DHCP. Yeah, so even if it's exclusion range,
Right.
since it is DHCP, so this is
Still gonna use it.
one of those mucho critical resources. So servers, printers, any servers, member servers, domain controllers, of course, they are critical resource for us. So always static IP, separate range of IP addresses, manually given. That's it. For any other clients, give it DHCP. But yeah, that's a good question. The thing is that for critical resource, keep it away from DHCPs. Okay, cluster 1 dot, cluster 2 dot. Maybe you need to create other clusters in other machines. So here cluster dot, in my case, sysnet domain dot local. Sysnet domain dot local. Click to type an IP address, 100, I'm sure this is not used, and this is the range I'm using. Validation is done, right? So,
I'm starting the validation.
oh, okay. Huh? Okay.
Please specify a name
Well,
without
I
a
was
domain
just
information.
installing the service.
Oh, okay.
I actually got the manager.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you were saying? Sorry.
It says when you press next, it says please specify a name without domain information.
Okay, let's press next. Please specify the name without domain. Oh, it's not FQDN. Oops. Sorry. Cluster accounts cluster. Let me just check the document. There are millions of steps, so let me just double check that. Come on, nobody remembers all the steps. In production, if I'm doing that, maybe I done it every day. I have a document always in front of me. I don't want to be caught by, and humans, they always forget. Machines, they never. So,
Then why they ask you to do that in the interview? How do I do it?
no. So they will not. Yes, that's why I say create screenshots, because they can ask anything and nobody can question them. But they will cover your overall response of multiple questions. So if you go really near and you forget something, they will understand, hey, this guy knows. It's okay if he forgot one step or two steps. He knows the concept, and major thing, confidently he said many of the steps here. So in Exchange interview, so recently I deployed Exchange at home 3 times. So when the Exchange interview was happening, I just and they were like, oh, good. So if I had not done that, I would have definitely tried that. After this comes, all roles are installed. We can choose custom, or we can do. But sometimes this thing doesn't impress them. Okay, maybe he saw the video. Okay, we're not impressed until he really impresses us with what we really want to know. So they will go to the questions which you won't find in the video,
Yeah.
which you have only done
Yeah.
to answer them. So, so yeah, this is one of those, and this actually is the critical one, where you need to know how to put that there. Since I had the document, so I did not, prepare at home. I was doing something. I was just trying to waste time. No, I was trying to. What? It's not even there. Cool. So yeah, let's just go to the cluster accounts, and it's going to provide the FQDN itself, because it has to create a DNS account for that, right? So this document just stops there. Okay, let's go ahead. Validating the settings, please wait, and there you go. But in the DNS, it's going to give the FQDN itself, right? Because it has to give an IP address there and register that. So add all eligible storage to the cluster. What does that mean? Add all eligible storage. What storage is it talking about?
Stat storage.
SAN storage, which are the 3 disks we added to this cluster. Okay, let's see where that is. Next. Okay, create cluster. Finito. Whew. When errors come, in the class, it's like, oh god. But this time it was smooth so far. But why is it smooth as well? We created new machines. If we had just worked on that, you would see all kinds of errors coming from all areas. Okay, if I go to roles, we haven't deployed anything, right? If I go to nodes, 2 of them are up. If we go to storage, disks, so now you can see it automatically assigned the first one as disk witness in quorum. The 2 rest of them available storage or data disks, right? And pools is just if we can create a lot of disk pools there if you want to. Networks. So since we took time to create those properly one by one on our new machines, it's working perfect, right? And we need to see once how it works perfect. So cluster and client, so networks are there, cluster network 1. So what is this? Cluster network 1 and cluster network 2. Can anyone tell me what's the difference? Why is there's a difference? Cluster only and cluster and client. Can you see that and tell me the difference? Why the name is cluster only and why the name is cluster and client? If you click that and further information is coming, you would notice right away. Why? Yeah, heartbeat. So cluster only, network 1, 10.0.0, right? /8. So that's why it's saying cluster only. So this is heartbeat just for clustering. This network is just for that. Cluster network 2 is cluster and client, which is that cluster will use that as well as clients will use that too, right? It's pretty clearly showing that why they are different. Okay, now to the prize, which is what roles we want to add. If we right click the role, we are going towards the crash test, right? So we're going to create a role, we're going to create a shared folder on that role, and then we're going to start some file there, and then we're going to do the crash test. So roles, before configuring the role, so let's go to the roles, configure role. What is configure role, or what are roles here? What do you understand from configure roles? It is, so did we, okay, let me explain that. So clustering part we are done, clustering configuration we are done now. Validation was perfect and we saw all the information is perfect. Roles is why we created the cluster. I mean, what do you want to put on? What is so critical that you want it to be highly available? That's what we're about to put now, right? So that's why we would need to put the roles there. But there are some applications that the cluster does not support. There are some applications that the cluster does support. So this is the list of those applications when you click next, which cluster does support. That's what you can put on the cluster, and that's what the cluster can make highly available, right? DFS, DHCP, and distribution transaction coordinator, whatever that is. I have to just do my homework, go to the TechNet and use that. File server we use, Hyper-V, iSCSI target server, we can just put that. Message queuing, other server. Now other server, then you can start adding more servers. Virtual machines you can put there. Win server. Oh, okay. So alarm, cute one. Anyway, we're just going for file server, but it's gonna give us an error. You're about to put a file server, but the file services have to be added first on the two machines. So the role which we are about to add is a file server, and the services for this role should be added from the add roles and features to both of the clustering server. You're about to cry now. Come on, just finish it, man. No, you're excited maybe. Yes, this is what I'm going to put in interview, and this is what I'm going to put in resume. I know clustering now, but you have to do it at least 2 times. I would recommend any other lab you're doing for 1 time. This, do it 2 times. This is worth it. And go for any other role, but first try to do exactly this, and you should be successful when you do it yourself from scratch. You need to remember all the steps, not like literally all the steps, but major steps. Okay, file server, it's not going ahead, it's not letting me click because the required role or feature, file services, could not be found. So we need to add file services role here inside. So I'm going to cancel out from here first and go back to the server manager. Dashboard, add roles and features. Where would we find file services? So on the roles, files and iSCSI services, there is file server and there is file server resource manager. shared folders and enabled users to access files on this computer from the network. Okay, file server here. So on the roles, but if I go to, just want to check, if I go to features, there's nothing starting by file F and says file services. Nope. Yeah, that's it. So I'm just going to go back, file server, and since I don't want to come back here and waste our critical time, oh, it's the same lab again. Seriously, I created that full lab for some guys with all the steps, and that was really pain.
I only get a message, automatic refresh field.
Automatic refresh fail
Refresh field.
for
It shows in the notification at the top.
no, what step are you doing at what time it is doing that?
So when I open server manager dashboard, and
Oh,
it has a red flag saying automatic refresh.
oh,
field.
do I have that? Nope. That could be a communication error. So the error, specific error would tell why and what.
It probably releases it.
Oh, that's the failover clustering stage. We did all that. Oh yeah, we did all that too. That would have been easy. Cluster shared volumes, but I wanted to add the roles, so I'm not gonna follow this one. Okay, file server. Next, but you're still able to do the tasks, right? Separate tasks, or it's not letting you go ahead.
Yeah, it was lineman to it, but I just rebooted just to
Oh yeah.
see
Okay.
if
Okay. I've just added the file server. I'm gonna check on the first one. I'm gonna start again that installation of role. If after adding the file server it lets me add that role, then I'm gonna start adding it to the second server as well. So I'm going back to the configure role after adding just the file server role, and if I select now again in the clustering services, file cluster, failover cluster manager, file server, now it lets me click next. So that was the role we needed to install. So I'm just going to go to this next machine, and I also am having this automatic refresh, right? This one. Okay. Well, because of the time, I'm gonna just try to ignore that for now. I hope it's for now thing is going to work for me. So on the second server, I'm also adding the file server here, and in order to add that role, this role has to be installed inside the Windows as well. Press yes, install. Okay. On the first server, file server role is there. Second server, I'm just making sure the file server role is installed or not. Oh, when I install that error goes away without restarting the whole server. The refresh thing is gone when I added that role. Right? Anyway, you restarted it. Yeah, second one where it was coming. Now it's gone. So, okay. This file server is installed. Jay?
I'm installing it right now.
File server. Okay. And you're evaluating?
No, I installed the first one.
Oh,
First one, I got the same, the flag.
okay.
Now I'm inside the second.
Hey, how come you're there? I mean, like, evaluation finished? So,
Yeah,
so speed is good, man. Or you're also, clicking at the right times. So, file server next. It's now next finish, just to add the role. File server for general use or scale out file server for application data. for client connections are distributed across the nodes. Cluster for better throughput. This is for applications that are related to file servers, bigger applications. This is for file server for general use. That's what we're going to use now. Next, name of the file server. So I'm just going to name it file server cluster. Oh, it's not going to let me go for cluster. It just stopped me at class. In fact, class is also good. Give me the clue. So IP address of this. So this is the central point for accessing. Through this share, we're going to access the file server. So it also requires a NetBIOS name and an IP address. I already used for the cluster a virtual name and an IP. So IP was 100. Here I'm just going to use 101 for the file server cluster. So we are creating a cluster file server cluster on the clustering services. So clustering services has its own virtual IP and IP address, virtual IP and virtual name. File server has its own virtual IP and name, right? So you need to access the file server. Whatever's going in the background, you don't care about that, right? So we're gonna see that how it works, but it just asks for, oh, you're adding a file server role to be highly available, so give a separate IP for that and a separate name for that. And we're gonna use this name. You're gonna see that how it is used when we are trying to do our crash test. So next, okay, so cluster disk 2 and 3. Do you see we had 3 disks added? Why is it showing us 2 disks here to be used for the file server cluster role?
One is the quorum.
Yeah, one is the quorum. So quorum cannot be used for data, and still we don't have to give this role all the disks, right? You're not gonna have that much fun looking at his screen like you used to have fun with. Come on, there are you three are all competitors. So okay, anyway, so should we use 2 disks or 3 disks? Oh, 1 disk or 2 disks for file server role. Okay, 1 disk, right? But we can use 2 disks as well. I'm just clicking 1 disk here, and if I expand that, it's volume F and TFS, and it gives us a space. So let's just use 1 disk here. Next, and now what we have done is added a role, file server role, to be highly available, and provided a disk that is not even a local disk. This disk resides somewhere else, right? And this disk has a connection to both the servers. In case we lose the whole server, the second server will keep the connection up. All right. So if we so we added the file server role. Hey, why is it red here? Is it showing very small red dot here?
Yeah.
To you as well, right? Did you see that very small red dot here on the?
Yeah.
So if we click that, the whole thing, if we click the whole thing, it's saying cluster account has 1 clustered roles and 2 nodes. Okay. So if you click here, can you tell me which is the active node now? If you just click on this, to the right side is the information. Which one is the active node? On the board, which one is the active node, or in your case, which is the active node? So if it is showing here current host server, that's the active node. So we're going to crash it. We're going to crash the active node. So if we crash the passive node, of course we're not going to see anything because it's not being used at all, right? We have to crash the active node. It decided in my case the active node should be server 2, which is actually In your case, Jay, it is member server 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have, this is also our first server, but it's named server 2 because we have server 2 and server 3. No? No, we have server 1 and 2. Sorry. So yeah, it's this server in my case which is active because the name is server 2 there and server 2 is actually active. So this means if I want to crash, I'm going to go to this other server and crash it, right? In your case, just make sure that, you know, the naming got still confused. Okay, so how do we test it now? The finale. Dun-dun-dun-dun, oh, I love that. Dun-dun-dun thingy. I love that. Dun-dun-dun. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, this topic.
If it has the warning, it means it's not good, no?
It's not what?
If it has the red mark, it means it's not active, no?
Well, I checked the services. It's okay. It has warning. So let's just go to the warning. Click warning, and it says what? The computer object associated with the cluster network name resource could not be updated. The text for the associated error code is unable to protect the virtual computer object or VCO from accidental deletion. The cluster identity, cluster accounts may lack permissions required to update the object. Please work with your domain administrator to ensure that the cluster identity can be update update computer objects in the domain. I think, sorry. I think we can safely ignore for now.
That's something we need to
Update with as per the permissions.
in Active Directory.
No.
It is
So, but we're gonna just try to do our stuff now, just to make sure that we do the crash test correctly. I'm still not going to take that. Hey, where are my sacred documents? Always keep them just to make sure that I don't mess anything. Yeah, oh, that's the big one. Did we go way down to the last one? No, that's still the wrong document. Installing the failure cluster. Just installing? Seriously? I created that document for all the students. So there's one class I took where I was creating the screenshots for the students. That academy was really nice to students, and they didn't want students to work hard. And I was working crazy because they were paying good. So
Big money,
a big one. So money. Oh, okay. So copy cluster. Seriously. Oh, there it is. So that's the video I always take as a backup. If my configuration fails and I am the one who's telling the configuration, and I always have this video that worked perfectly. And as our today's lab is perfectly working, so I'm just gonna go to the last one. Exactly same steps every time, day in day out, same steps when we come to this lab. So there it is. Oh, sorry, seriously, there was no. Oh yeah, we crashed it actually. But what did we do here before crashing? There you go. So we tried to access this cluster. So let me just yeah, my domain. So this is what we created. Let me just show that. Yeah, my domain of FS. This is the cluster name, and we right clicked it. Yeah, this is a step I was missing. So you know, it's always we learn when we do it ourselves. So if I go back to the roles and click this properties, so file server class, so I'm going to the properties of the cluster, and we just have to put the preferred owners. These two servers are the owners of that server. So I did that, right? Did you get this? Right? So if I go to the file server cluster, right click, go to the properties, and preferred owners. That's the extra thing we did. Select the preferred owners for this clustered role. Use the buttons to list them in order for most preferred at the top to least. So we can have the preferred owner if we are to fail over, right?
So you need to select the total.
Yeah, both of them we need to select. But node right now, active node is server 2, right? Okay, the only thing we did extra is select preferred owner. Excuse me. So how do we test it? So if we go to the run and backslash, put the backslash there. So remember, what is the name of the file server? File server cluster, file server class in my case. So I'm remembering that I'm going to the domain controller now. I'm going to the domain controller, go to run backslash file server class. So it is giving me the shared folder that needs to be. So I'm just checking this. File server class is, if I go to that cluster name, file server class, it just shows me that there has to be a shared drive available there, right? But we cannot use that. So I'm just going to play that video again. You know, sometimes I work hard and create videos, then second time I say, hey, why do I have to just go back again and check that? I have that video to reference, so I'm just gonna go there. So I have that video for reference. Ah, yes, this is a step. So okay, let me explain you that. I was trying to see that if this cluster, file server cluster, is even accessible, right? But when I accessed it, it shows me nothing, right? Why? Because we did not create a file share here, add file share, and this file share has nothing to do with witness file share, right? That is a separate term. So add file share just means that create a shared folder inside this cluster that will be highly available. So if we go to add file share, it's a separate wizard now. So first we created a wizard, we started a wizard to add a role. We added that file server role. Now on that file server role, we're gonna create a add file share. So we're gonna create a shared folder. That's all. That shared folder should be highly available. So I click the add file share, retrieving server and cluster, and then it should start a wizard if everything goes well. Did it start the wizard for anyone?
It says warning.
Okay, that's not fair. It didn't start for me. What? Okay. Add file share from here. Seriously? Hey, we all did the same setting, right? So retrieving server and cluster information, retrieving information about the installed services. So it started for everyone, and so you're on the add file share, everyone? Okay, add storage, no. Okay, so that's where the backup video comes. Okay, anyway. Oh, this came for me too, and then it should start this wizard. Which wizard? You know, I should not say right away this wizard. When it comes, then I should say this wizard. What? Stop pausing that. Oh no, I'm minimizing that. Yeah, I'm thinking at that time. Thing. Oh yeah, oh I realize I'm the same server. Cool. Add file share. Again, oh I'm getting the same error in the video as well. Seriously. Oh, this wizard is open, right? For everyone. Is it? Okay, cool. No? You didn't get it as well? Okay, maybe it's Windows and restart requires. Okay, anyway, what we need to do is select the top one, which is the SMB file shares. Look at this, and one day when I come back and figure out in the video, seriously, go back again. You know, these videos are really frustrating, especially when they're running on VLC, the latest one. Okay, so this, so did you you have to just choose the top one, which is the SMB file share. The NFS is for, anyone knows what is the NFS for? Linux. From there we can share that. So the top one, you chose it, the top one SMB, just choose it and just go ahead, and you should be seeing that drive, right? Both of you are seeing the drive, right? Okay. And Michael, you there? Oops. Oh, you selected 2 drives. It's okay. So now, if you're on the share name here, you just need to give that. This is the shared folder you're creating inside that file server highly available role. There has to be one shared folder for the users to put their files. So whatever you put the name here, so accounts shared folder, because it's a account cluster for the accounts people. So this will be cluster name / this shared folder. Whatever shared folder name you put here, cluster name /. So this is what everyone, all the users will access to share their files, and this will be highly available. So while we create a file here, we're going to crash the active server, and the file here should be perfectly working, right? Okay, so you put that?
Yeah.
Okay, you also put that? Okay, cool. So we can go ahead. If you put the share name, I put company most critical. Okay, I was feeling funny at that time. Actually, I feel all the time. Company most critically important, high level. Company critically important, high level - your jobs online kind of files. Okay, even I laughed. Okay, so that, you have to be creative when you're creating folders, right? So company most critically important, high level, your jobs online kind of files, because you're making it highly available. Maybe they are CEO's files, right? Or anyway, just put a shared folder accounts. That's it. But okay, once we put that, I took some time in putting that. Don't put the commas there. Would you just go ahead? It's not funny the second time. Now I feel how when students see the video. Okay, anyway, so enable continuous availability, allow caching of share, enable access based enumeration. We're gonna just and encrypt data access. So continuous availability are already selected. We're just gonna keep it like that, and caching of the share, yes, it should be cached. Then next, you're going with the video, right? So here we can just put access to all the users. If I go to click add, I went to click add to not click anything, just to show things. I'm going through the according to the video, but I'm not expecting what's going on now next. So you can add any group, it just self-explanatory. You want to add, you don't want to add, that's it, right? So in the video I felt I should be explaining more, but it's just kid stuff, and I am still explaining more. Good. Domain users. Okay, do you know what that is? Which security group is that? Everybody. Domain users with full control. Okay, so we're going crazy now. It's a party. Otherwise you need to really put access. Already administrators have access, and click finally create. right? So you can give access, but to everybody. Once you are done with that, done? Both done? You did not do this step? This one. So this is right click the cluster and go to properties, and you should see this server 2-3. Just check them both. Right click the cluster name of the file server, the role name, and go to properties of that, and just check those servers. Okay, and that's it.
Alright, so when you show was an open, so on the select profile, you select SMB.
Yeah, top one. And then we didn't configure anything. Next, finish. That's it. We need to crash right now, sir. Oh, that's the. So check. This is the preferred owners. If it fails, who should it fail over to, right? Which ones you preferred it to fail over first, right? So you can just put there, right? Go ahead. Okay, maybe my actual servers are showing, not showing start role. Yeah. This is really stupid. Yeah, did you?
Yeah.
And it worked? You Windows. I don't hate you, I love you. Okay. See, it worked. Okay. It just took time. So I'm just gonna quickly do this all thingy, and your job online. I still feel nasty actually. Online kind of files. Next. And yeah, continuous availability, caching, permissions, create, close, and I'll just make sure that in that file server, yeah, I've checked both. Okay, let's check it now. So now we're ready to do the crash test, but how do we test it first, that if the end users are even able to do that? So I'm gonna go to the domain controller or server 4 or any non-clustered servers, and go to the run, and start typing the name of the file server cluster, right? So file server cluster / whatever name you gave, right? / shared folder. You're accessing that. So cluster name of the file server / file server cluster name, and then go for that shared folder we just created. Enter. Are we able to create new folders? Yes. So account files. In fact, account files, right click inside the folder, whatever folder you create, and create a text document here, right? When you create a text document, double click that and turn it on, and keep writing something, blah 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 blah, whatever, right? And keep it up. If this notepad is on a server that is crashed, of course we won't see a notepad, right? The notepad will automatically shut off. It's not gonna stay open if right?
Yeah.
So now crash the active server. How do we do that? Well, that's the fun part, right? So what do we need to see here? I am still on the file cluster server manager roles here, and I'm just going to stay on this one where it is giving me the status of which is the current host server. So current host is server 2 in my case, so I'm gonna go to the server 2 and shut down power, shut down guest, right? And keep working on the notepad as well. Notepad is running out of this server right now. Okay, shut down. Domain controller, keep working. It is shut down, and the notepad by now should have been gone. Or if I close save, yeah, it's freezing now on me a little. Bad performance, a little. And again, I'm creating another folder test while it is shut down now. And
You open the notepad on the VC, right?
yeah, on a third machine. other than the server. So now when I go back to the surviving server, already I can see that okay, the share I created there is okay, and also it shows that the current host server is now server 1, right? So the notepad is working fine. We crashed the working server. Now if I just want to prove that hey, notepad should have gone when the crash happened, and notepad is working out of the active server. How do we know? What is the proof that it is working out of the active server? Let me just crash the active server as well. Yes, while you crashed it, right? Let's just crash a second just to make sure. Oh yeah, notepad is working out of that cluster itself. So if I just restart this server, restart guest, and oh, I'm just double clicking the notepad, but or actually I closed it, but if I double click that, definitely that was the only server left. It crashed, right? So it was working out of that. Of course, those are two machines where we had that. But I'm just going to start the second machine now.
I can't save it now.
Yeah, you just crashed the only one.
Both.
You crashed both, right? So at least, no, the whole thing should not be available at all.
Yeah.
Just to prove that, okay, the clustering was working fine. And if clustering is not available, that's what's going to happen. User will not have any access. So I've restarted first and second one both. Let's see which one becomes the active one. In my case, the first one was active one because second one was active one with which I crashed. Then the first one became the active one. Now I'm gonna add it again, start it again. It's starting now, and if I can access the share, let me see which one is the active one now. First of all, the servers are started right away. Okay, notepad is open, and I can create new folders again quickly. Yeah, I can start working again, but I want to see from the second server or the first server. If I go to the failover cluster manager, is the second one the active one or the first one the active one now? So I'll just click the top one here. In my case now, the first one is the active one. So I can crash the first one and the notepad would still be working, which means we have perfectly configured the clustering environment. So this is one of the most important topmost labs. You should repeat it at least 2 times for it will be really in your brain. Majority steps will be in your brain, and especially the concept will be very clear that okay, I know clustering, ask me anything, but do it 2 times at least. That's for your own good, right? So okay, and create screenshots for yourself because that's going to be very useful when you go to interviews. Just go through the screenshots. It's like 1 minute, it takes 1 minute, 2 minutes, and you remember the whole thing or majority of the things. The more explanatory your screenshots are, the more you will easily remember before the interview. And this is one of those things that you should be ready for. Alright, stopping the video now and gotta run. Guys, it's 9 o'clock, not 9:30.